Let the bass kick. What up?
What up?
What up? What up?
I got all kinds of hi-hats.
Is there a snake in here? What up? Ha!
Beware of snakes. They get you.
What up? What up? What up? Welcome to episode 41 of
What's cracking?
Last Cash. I'm Will.
Nashville. I'm Dr. Hoy, and I'm listening.
He's listening. I'm talking. That's the story of our lives.
Got headphones.
I got headphones.
I'm listening.
We're locked in.
Locked and loaded?
Yeah. Locked and loaded for bear. We got a cool little show coming for you guys tonight. I don't know if J.R. Marcus is going to show up here or if and when or all that jazz, but
when or if.
Yeah, we got a lot of stuff to talk about. A lot of recent developments with MCO stuff. Here in a little bit, Gary.
I just need to ask a couple questions about spectator badges.
Yeah, you and everybody else.
Yeah. You've got questions, we've got answers. Spectator badges coming soon. Oh, wait, they're here.
Oh, whoa, they're here. Yeah, that's one thing we can talk about. We're going to have our pal Gary Rogian come. Rogaine? I always want to say Rogian, but Justin Morris says that it's pronounced like Rogaine, the hair product. So we're going to have Gary settle that for us once and for all. But Gary is he's a member of the club. He's been at a lot of our events. He's also heavily involved with Dixon Disc Golf Club, just to the west of town. And he's going to come by.
This is Dixon Disc Golf.
This is Dixon.
Isn't that how they?
I think
this
so.
is Dixon Disc Golf.
Yeah, I think something like that. But you guys know everybody from Dixon. A bunch of people down there. The Snyders, the Lynns play out there a lot. Lynns play everywhere, but Gary's,
they win everywhere.
They win everywhere. Gary's going to come talk to us a little bit about what's new in Dixon, and also one of those new things is they've got a new sponsor for the club called Drive Disc Golf. That's DRYVE Disc Golf, and they've got a cool new retriever. Some other products that are coming out, so they are sponsoring Dixon Disc Golf. So we're excited to talk to them about that.
Nice.
We figured we were here a little early, and so since there is a bunch of stuff to talk about regarding MCO and other stuff, that we would just go ahead and push the big red button and jump right in.
There's always stuff happening with MCO.
It's all happening.
And if you please look at the players that are signed up for the MCO, MPO, and FPO, and then look at a list of the top 50 to 100 players in MPO and FPO, and just compare those two lists. That's your homework assignment. Take a look.
I like that.
Yeah.
That's a nice touch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't give everything away, but I can tell you
it's a teaching moment.
You're going to want to be here. You're going to want to be involved in Music City Open.
Anybody who's anybody is coming to the Music City Open this year.
There's a lot of work to be done, and we'll get to all that, but the biggest thing is Nashville likes to show off. They like a party. We're going to have both.
Yep. That's for show. We doing that for show.
Yeah. Big things popping.
What just happened here? We just had the White House Huck Fest.
White House Huck Fest.
I know you've got some stuff pulled up about that.
Yes. Shout out to Nashville Disc Golf Store, Justin Martineau and Sean Groton, TDs of that event. And also shout out to Lance Kirby, Jody Franklin, the White House Course crew.
Oh, hey, it's Marcus.
Woohoo! What's up?
Get in here, baby.
He's got some Thorntons.
I messed up
Are we still recording?
Oh, we're recording, baby.
Oh.
Yeah, I messed up the
Looks like
headphones.
some donuts. Cakes.
Holy crap. Pod
we got
snacks.
Cakes. We got Thorntons.
Last Cash pod snacks. What up, bro?
What's up?
I didn't know if or when you were going to be here, so we just pushed the button and started.
What's up?
I just made room for you next to me.
The White House Huck Fest was Marcus. I don't see him on there, but shout out to Nashville Disc Golf Store, Sean Groton, Justin Martineau, and Lance Kirby and Jody Franklin, the White House Course crew. They had it looking sharp. 2 weeks ago, at the Independence Dubs, they got it looking sharp now. I mean, actually, they always have it looking sharp. So,
Yeah, super sharp. Those guys are the course crew that you want at your course, and you can't have them because they're ours.
And who do you guys guess took it down in MPO? Okay, let me rephrase it. Who plays a lot of events locally at MPO and is one of the most consistent local MPO players?
Justin Bonnell. DJ Wicks.
Yeah. But now I don't see him on here.
There's so many names.
DJ took it down with a 55 and a 55.
Hi, Marcus.
Hey, Donnie. DJ Wicks. Yeah. Okay.
For an 18 down.
18 down. Nice.
A 992 and a 989. I mean, that's how DJ Wicks, he gets you, man. He shoots those 990s consistently, sometimes 1005, sometimes 1010, and it's just, I mean, he's Mr. Consistent.
Yeah, I played around with him recently at Cane Ridge Big.
Uh-oh.
And he took my money like a pro. He's a great golfer. So shout out to DJ.
But in the MP40, we had a battle. We went down to a playoff between Jeff Castellina and David Harless.
Is this like back-to-back?
Let me give you a couple highlights from David Harless's round. He aced, in the second round, he aced hole 13B. He shot a 1041, and him and Jeff Castellina ended up tied at 18 down. David Harless took it down in playoff. So Jeff Castellina, another second place finish. I know we were just talking about that.
I was about to say it, yeah.
Yeah, we just had Jeff on talking about the Solstice. It was the third time he played, the third time he'd taken second place. And then, man.
But a 941 first round for Harless and then a 1041?
Yeah.
That's a good time. It's a good time to drop that 1041 at any time.
Yeah, I don't feel too bad about coming in second place to that. Like if I'm me.
And shout out to Ben Shin.
He
took down third place. I think he's up in Clarksville. So had a nice little battles there. And then advanced, James Corder took it down. Oh, MA40, Chris Rucker.
Oh, hey.
Took it down with an 8 down. Second place was +4.
I think he's played that course before.
Yeah. Chris Rucker, he showed him how it's done. Tommy Flake took it down MA50. Chuck Carter. Patrick Belding took it down over Patrick Queechy. Battle of the Patricks there in intermediate. Sarah Hoyle took it down over Alex Stewart. Only a 4-shot victory. That was a close battle. Alex Stewart, I believe, was leading. No, she was down by 1 after the first round, and yeah, Sarah's hung on. Sarah Hoyle take down intermediate.
Very nice.
Levi Pippin took down Rec. I'm not sure who that is, but shout out to Levi Pippin.
Shout out to Levi.
Oh, shout out to Ruthie Toothy. Taking down Rec Women by 4 strokes. That's impressive. And she shot above her rating. She is 726 rated. She shot a 757 and a 781. So Ruth is coming for your lunch money.
Yeah, she's been averaging above her rating in most of the tournaments lately.
And in novice, Austin Holland taking it down. That's nice over Seth Ives. 2-shot victory. Nice shooting, Austin. So, I mean, that's...
Golf snaps to all the top finishers at the White House Huck Fest.
White House Huck Fest is always a good time. It's 2 rounds. It's White House, so you're in the shade most of the time. But there's a couple holes where you do have to throw as hard as you can to get there.
Yeah.
And you still probably won't get there.
Hole 18?
I'm thinking hole 1, hole 18.
Oh, that hole. Well, hole 1 long. Yeah.
Hole 1 straight. I mean, straight. Like,
This
what
is
do
a
you...
boss turnover. Somebody gave me a boss
For
the
some,
other day.
yeah.
Somebody gave me a boss the other day, yeah.
Hey, we got some new MCDG bosses. So.
Hey.
Yeah, finally?
Yeah.
Finally, we got some
Exactly.
bosses?
Yeah, star bosses.
Guys, I'll let you know right now, I've owned or had over 30 bosses.
But who is your current boss?
Jesus.
Nice.
Jesus is the reason for the season.
Well
There you
done.
go.
Yeah.
Golf snaps tomorrow.
Coming in hard.
Yeah.
Yeah. He just
Boom.
kicked in the door
Yeah.
and sat down and started dropping the fire jokes.
Yeah, exactly.
Pow! I shoot from the hip.
Pineapple Jesus.
Westworld.
Yeah.
So as you guys know, a lot of times I like to make the podcast the place where we release information first. Yeah, get you a donut, bro.
Open it up, man. Come on, bro.
It's cupcakes.
Oh, it's cupcakes.
It's nothing but cake, okay?
Nothing but cakes.
They do not sponsor anything but They should. Because,
So you heard it here first, folks. We got nothing but cakes.
Yeah, buddy.
Oh, here we go.
All right. Yeah.
Dr. Hoy is now figuring out the box.
Gently.
Just as a doctor should, right?
Yeah.
But the one thing that we can definitely say is
Velvet.
that we have locked in our 3 primary food vendors for the Music City
Speaking
Open.
of food.
Speaking of food. So joining us at the Music City Open this year will be, of course I'm going to have one, will be Loveless Cafe. Their food truck will be there. Nectar Urban Cantina. And Central Barbecue, who now has locations in Nashville.
Yes.
I went to Central Barbecue. They have the biggest barbecue sandwich you can get around town, and you don't have to like order the big one. Like the normal sandwich is big.
The regular one is big.
The
Yeah, I had the
downtown
regular one.
location. It's money. I can't wait to try something else. I saw somebody get like a nachos.
Yep.
It was so big, bro. Like it had to be like French fries or something. It looked like the mountain, just like
Yep.
I threw down with nachos
the barbecue mountains.
at Emporia, Kansas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's this barbecue joint. I'm like, I'll take the barbecue nachos. I was like, what the? I'm like,
I mean, you can just put barbecue on top of anything. Fries,
yeah.
chips.
Or then you hear about the tachos.
Potato.
Tater tots that are like
There you go, tater
nachos
tots.
and
Tater tots. Bam.
yeah.
So I went to the central location over by the Children's Hospital in Hillsborough Village.
Boom.
And our buddy, fellow disc golfer, Aaron Pryor, is over there. And I sat down. I had one of the regular sandwiches. It was the bomb. Their fries are also super dope. And come to find out, they've got this whole big upstairs dining room that they don't use.
Uh-oh.
And I asked Aaron, I was like, what can we do some stuff in here? And he's like, oh yeah, we've been having like pharmaceutical sales reps up there and stuff like that. And I was like, can we have like meetings and stuff up there? And he said, yeah. So
Like disc golf meetings?
it's kind of funny because we've been trying to schedule a Music City Open staff and volunteer meeting.
Pew, 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 pew.
So coming up on Thursday, the 22nd at 5:30 p.m., come on down to Central Barbecue in Hillsborough Village. That's 1601 21st Avenue South, 37212. And you can't miss it. It's in the old Sportsman's Grill building. Totally renovated and repainted. Looks a lot different, much nicer and more modern inside. And the food is amazing, and they are going to be a partner for Music City Open. So we are going to have a staff and volunteer meeting on Thursday the 22nd at 5:30 p.m. So that's going to be us, the staff of Music City Open, Music City Disc Golf Board of Directors, other event team members, and anybody who is interested in volunteering for this year's Music City Open. Please come on down and join us. This will be a good time to ask questions. We're going to be sharing new updated information that is just recently coming available, and we're also going to be making some decisions and talking about strategies moving into the event.
Work party information.
Work party
We got some work to do on the
information.
courses.
Plans for spectating, all these things that everybody's been asking about. So if you are interested in volunteering for Music City Open or being a part of our team, come on over to the staff and volunteer meeting. It'll be a great opportunity to meet everybody, figure out who's doing what. Our volunteer coordinators hopefully will be there as well, so you guys can meet them, and we'll get a lot of information out there available to you guys as we head into the nitty-gritty of the preparations. So yeah, again, big golf snaps to Nectar Urban Cantina, our pal Hunter Hackinson, Central Barbecue, and the Loveless Cafe. Derek Rowland, Stogie Steve's brother, is managing the food truck over there. So that's big news that we've got going on. I'm excited to have this meeting, get that out of the way.
Oh, yeah.
Get the whole team together. It's going to be fun.
It's time.
It's time.
I was excited because I tuned in to the PDJ Tournament Manager today and was setting the payout. There's going to be some people making some money on this thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to
Age
be
Protected Pros, AMs, we're finalizing the competitor pack, and you don't want to miss it. The value of the competitor pack this year is straight fire.
Yep. We are trying to do everything we can to move up into this new level that the event has grown to with the National Tour event and then the concurrent A tier. Thankfully, this is why you and I have gone to Emporia the last few years to be a part of the DDO and see how the master himself, Doug Bjerkes, and the crew in Emporia runs that show, because that's the biggest one in the world. You want to be that's the bar.
Yeah.
And
they just had a junior worlds this past weekend, and it was in Emporia, and Cadence Burge took second place in the FJ15. I don't.
Yeah, FJ15.
Yeah, that was impressive showing because you have to play 5 days, like 5 rounds.
It's a
and then
legit world
finals. Like
championship.
yeah.
So shout out Golf Snaps to Caden Spurge and to everybody else, all the juniors that competed in Emporia. I think, honestly, I don't see there being a more perfect place to host Junior Worlds because of just how much DD can pour into the experience for the players there.
Yeah.
And they really do go over the top to make it all about the kids. And, man, a bunch of people just really unexpectedly and out of the goodness of their heart showed up to make the experience special for the kids. I saw Ricky Wasaki showed up on one day and started handing out bracelets and taking pictures with the kids and stuff like that. And that's the kind of thing that is really encouraging to see, especially in a time when everybody's commenting on negativity and all this stuff on social media all the time, and it starts to feel kind of cumbersome with all that negative energy. To see the kids go out there for their world championship, that's like, to me, that's a reminder of how we should all be taking this and how we should all be treating disc golf and each other. So.
That's what Paul Macbeth, he took down the Des Moines Challenge. No spoiler alerts because it already happened.
Already happened in real life.
But he was shouting out, he's going to AM Worlds. I'm going to be hanging out there in Florida. And then, but shout out to Missy Gannon. Yeah. She took down her first Disc Golf Pro Tour event.
Right. That was huge.
And she beat a big field, Paige Pierce and others. Like, I mean, they were.
Big fan of Missy. I mean, her first time at Music City Open, just a joy to be around. Yeah. She's all smiles. Her positive attitude and energy is infectious. And it's good to see her get her first win.
Right. That was exciting.
Well, not her first win, but her first big
First
win.
Disc Golf Pro Tour
win. Yeah.
That's big time, though, because the fields now are, even for the FPO, their scores they're throwing down. Yeah. If you look at the scores from the Junior Worlds, the scores they're throwing down, the ratings, like 1,000 rated rounds, 970 rated rounds, and MJ15.
I can't beat none of those kids.
Huh?
I can't compete.
I identify as an MJ5 player.
Yeah.
MJ5?
Yeah. Man, I went
MJ23.
Do you guys play anywhere this weekend? I know you worked.
I played DJ.
Actually, I played Baby Kane.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
I parked hole 9 with a Mamba.
Very nice. Rodney
Baby
aced
Kane.
That on
Baby
Saturday.
Kane, though. Baby Kane.
Oh, on Baby Kane?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a tough one, right?
Yeah, it's like turning up the hill. It's kind of, you got to go kind of
I still haven't played
branched,
Baby
and
Kane.
then
You haven't done what?
I haven't played Baby Kane.
What?
Cane Ridge. We're getting ready for the Cane Ridge Open.
Oh, goodness.
August 15th, and it's a shotgun start. I know it's damn, bro.
It's a dirty shame. I know.
But Cane Ridge Open. That's what I was out there. Walk through Advanced Cane, and we're gonna do some work parties out there. We need to get it looking. We got high standards here in Music City, so
yeah.
And Naval Hill, we just played there, and we got to tune that up a little bit as well.
Yeah, and you guys, let's pay attention here and understand how this works. The two courses, Naval Hill and Cane Ridge, those are two of our newer venues, and places like Cedar Hill, Two Rivers, Seven Oaks, those are our older courses. Those have established course crews, and they run almost generationally. Yeah. We're still in the process of finding people that are comfortable committing to the position of course captain and being the steward of these courses. Well, with both of them up until Mike Hassung has really, really stepped up
he has.
into the role of caretaker and steward for Cane Ridge, and he's out there breaking his back, doing all the work pretty much by himself. And you guys are going to see me making some posts on social media, but I really want to drum up some support for this guy. It's hard for me to get out to Cane Ridge on a regular basis because we live on the west side of town. But I know there's a ton of people that play Cane Ridge all the time. And I think if we can do a better job of making it, putting the information out there when Mike's going to be out there doing work and what needs to be done when, doing a better job of communicating with Mike and being his mouthpiece to drum up some extra hands for him. Yeah. But if you guys are watching, listening to this, if you are of the mind to get involved or give back or try to get more plugged into the disc golf community here in Nashville, the best way to do it is to help.
Yes.
And so, every course that you play here in the Nashville area has a course captain and and usually a course crew. And these are the locals that play the course all the time. The captain has the keys to the basket, and he's responsible for keeping the course maintained and doing the upkeep. And the locals come together, and it's a really easy pattern if you follow. But like the White House crew that we were just mentioning, Lance Kirby, Billy Fowler, Jody Franklin, Chris Rucker, all those guys, Farm Fresh, all of them, they're a combination of the Cedar Hill and White House course crews, and they just go to each other's courses. One day a week, they meet up early, do a couple hours of work, play disc golf, and they go on about their business. And that tends to be enough if a dedicated group of people meets once a week and does general maintenance and upkeep. Right. And then you have the same group of people can report back to a club like Music City Disc Golf and say, hey, we have these big needs, like this bridge needs replaced, or we need these signs replaced, or whatever it may be. Well, then the role of the club is to come along and offer the manpower and the resources and the funds to make those big projects easier to handle so they don't get sidetracked in the regular upkeep. So reach out to the course captains. If you don't know who they are, find out. A simple post on Nashville Disc Golfers on Facebook can easily get you that information. We can run through it real quick here. You got Mike McDaniel and John Williams at Seven Oaks, Billy Fowler at Cedar Hill, Donnie Bannister, Ruthie Miller, and Kyle Copeland at Two Rivers, Micah Sung at Cane Ridge, Sean Gouge at Naval Hill. What am I missing here? But yeah, and if you're outside of the regular Nashville area, you've got, to the south, you've got the Williamson County Club that takes care of Liberty and Crockett and the courses down there. You got Middle Tennessee Disc Golf Association. They can tell you who's responsible for the courses in Murfreesboro and Smyrna. So, it's easy to find this information. If you want to get plugged in, just show up and help. Sling a weed weeder for a couple hours and then make friends with people and go throw some Frisbees. We
always have to string, if you're ever in doubt, we have to string trim around the T-pads and the pins always and pick up limbs and trash. I mean, you can start there, and if you can just do, say you only have an hour a week, if you just did an extra hour and played 1 hour less, that'd be huge. So
yeah, and here's something easy that you can do, even if you don't feel like joining a big group and going that route, but you would like to help. I know one thing that the courses always need is there are holes and trash cans at T-pads throughout the course that are harder to get to and are further away from access roads. And those are the ones that are the hardest to keep emptied because the Metro trucks don't drive back past into those areas. So a good example is Cane Ridge. Micah Sung ends up having to walk out onto the course into these remote T-pads that have trash cans and get the bag out and bring it and set it at one of the cans that's close to the road. And then the Metro guys will pick it up. Right. So if you're out there playing around, maybe just go by Dollar General, get you a box of contractor bags, take one with you, empty one trash can on your way out of the park, drag it up to the road, set it there, and go on about your business.
Pro tip, tear a few small holes in the trash bag when you put the new one in.
Yep.
And that'll let the water and other stuff drain out so it won't be as heavy.
Yep.
For the next person.
All kinds of ways that you can get involved. But coming out to the club events, getting behind the table, asking how to help, all those things. But this is a very delicate ecosystem that we live in here. And our habitat depends on people being willing to step up and give freely of themselves for the greater good. So keep that up.
Definitely.
For sure. But yeah, look forward to announcement of work days for Naval Hill and at Cane Ridge. I'm assuming Mike and John are going to carry on the work party at Seven Oaks. I don't know if I've seen a date on that.
I've heard rumblings. Let me... Hold on. Friday, September 10th and Saturday, September 11th.
Perfect. Right before Music City Open.
It'll be looking prime.
Yep.
Seven Oaks work party.
And everybody has been asking a lot of questions about Mill Ridge. So here's another opportunity to just lay it all out there. Mill Ridge is being developed as a temporary course for the purpose of the Music City Open. We are working it. Sean and I have been out there marking tee locations. He is back from Junior Worlds, so once he's had a little time to recover, he and I are going to be back out there finishing that up. We're going to haul the turf over there, get it in place so that the grass underneath starts to die. We're going to talk to Billy, get the gravel dropped off out there, get Miami and his crew loose working the tee pads, and then the rest of us will be clearing fairways and greens for the rest of the month. And then we're aiming for, throughout the month of August, maybe into the beginning of September, having a couple test events out there, possibly bringing one or two of the weeklies for a rotation out there. So we will be getting some traffic out there. You will have opportunities to both help us work that property and to play the course before Music City Open. And we will be making posts about this. If you're not already, follow the 2021 Music City Open presented by Dynamic Discs on Facebook. I did create a Facebook page for the event. That will be the official and primary place to gather all new and most updated information about the event. But it will also be shared to Music City Disc Golf pages, Nashville Disc Golfers, my
Disc golf
personal
scene.
page,
There's a lot of information there. If you search out
podcast, and the podcast pages that'll have it. But yes, Disc Golf Scene, all of the official information for the event. You know, and remember, if you're an amateur or an age-protected pro, you're playing in the A tier. If you're MPO and FPO, you're playing in the NT. So there's 2 separate registration pages, but it's all on Disc Golf Scene. Much like information on how to get spectator passes.
Yes.
And how to sign up as a vendor for the award ceremony and the fly party.
The beauty of Disc Golf Scene, somebody's always going to have a scenario that you have not thought of.
Yeah.
Wow, a question. We'll figure out an answer to it, though.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and so all good things. If you really want to, you know, get some firsthand information, come out to the meeting on the 22nd.
Yeah.
Central Barbecue, Hillsboro Village.
And if you come out and help with Mill Ridge, then maybe you'll want to volunteer for the MCO NT, and you'll start to learn some places where, hey, if I volunteer here, I can see 3 holes. You know, I can be a spotter here or something. So,
yep. You guys can reach out to Justin Morris. Also, if you're interested in volunteering, his email is justin.morris70@yahoo.com, and we'll be making posts with that information so you can get in touch with him. But we are really going to do our level best to really show our volunteers how much we appreciate them this year. Also, that's part of leveling up the event. We want to make sure that we're doing our best to adequately compensate and incentivize our volunteers. So we're going to be compensating people for their volunteer hours worked. We're going to be breaking volunteer spots down into 6-hour shifts. So you work one 6-hour shift, you get a voucher to Music City Disc Golf to redeem for merchandise.
Boom.
If you work 2 or more 6-hour shifts, you're going to get a full volunteer pack with a bunch of specific exclusive merchandise from the event. And we are also going to be having a volunteer and staff party post MCO. Date and location TBD, but I can tell you it's going to be at a restaurant that we all know and love, and has been affiliated with club events in the past. So we are going to do that. Also, I mentioned earlier our food vendors, Loveless Cafe, Nectar Urban Cantina, and Central Barbecue. Those food trucks will be at the event in different locations and times. I can tell you Loveless Cafe, as of right now, the plan is for the food truck from Loveless to follow us throughout the NT. So we'll be at Cedar Hill the first 2 days, Mill Ridge the second 2 days. And then Nectar will only be at the awards ceremony at Mill Ridge on Sunday. Central, I believe, is going to be following a rotation right now. Tentatively, we're thinking Seven Oaks Day 1, Naval Hill Day 2, Cane Ridge Day 3. Boom. But they'll also be at the awards ceremony. We are having the fly party this year at Music Valley Village, right off of Music Valley Highway, Music Valley Drive, one of those things. But it's right over there where Scoreboard and all that stuff is, where if you played the 2014 Rumble at Ravenwood, that was where the players' party for that was at Scoreboard. Ooh. So it's kind of a neat little throwback, but we're going to have that whole shopping center area. RVs will be parked in the parking lot. We'll have tents and tables set up, and we are going to be encouraging people to patronize the restaurants and bars there on site during the fly party.
I was just thinking,
Ring of Fire?
During that whole thing,
I'm into it.
Justin Morris, can we call him J-Mo?
You're running it, right?
J-Mo?
Oh, yeah.
J-Mo?
Yeah, J-Mo.
Can we get that started?
Yeah, man, we sure can.
Marcus is shaking his head. No, we can't.
No.
It's so fun. Isn't that
I haven't
weird?
had to do the head shake for you on it's
I was-
over a month. I'm like,
When I start saying puns by myself at my house, I'm
Yeah.
like,
Oh,
WWMD.
Where-
What would Marcus do?
What would Marcus do?
right.
Here is this
Shaking my damn head.
is this a weird coincidence? We'd said we were following the DDO model. Their volunteer coordinator, Jackie Morris. Our volunteer coordinator, Justin Morris.
Whoa.
J-Mo.
Both could be J-Mo.
Both could be J-Mo. Both awesome.
Yeah.
That's weird, man. It's kind of weird.
That's-
It's kind of spookular. But shout out golf snaps to both Jackie Morris and Justin Morris. Both awesome people. And also to Erica Bergstrom, because we are putting 2 people in charge of the volunteers because Erica's a little bit more organized. So she'll be running the spreadsheets. Justin's the people person, the man of the people. He's going to be coordinating with you guys, the volunteers, and and Erica will be making sure that we have accurate information on how to contact you and where you are being placed. So, yes. And also at the big time, we're getting badges this year. So A-tier competitors will have a badge. NT competitors will have a badge. Staff, media, volunteers will have badges. So you guys know spectator access is $20. Good time to mention this because I'm going to have to mention it a bunch of times. First 2 days at Cedar Hill, spectating will be limited. Now, this $20 pass covers you for the entire event. You don't have to pay for multiple passes per each day. Also, parking will be very limited at Cedar Hill because the main parking lot will be mostly occupied by media and competitors and staff. So the parking throughout the course is going to be on a first come, first serve basis, and we will be having designated spectator areas throughout the course. So there will not be any spectators allowed to follow groups throughout the course. It's just too tightly wooded to have people that close up on the groups and still be able to get good media. But there are a lot of really big open areas in places where multiple holes converge, where we can park a bunch of people and let you watch cards as they come through, and then you can see a little bit of all of the action.
Right.
So that's going to be the move at Cedar Hill the final 2 days at Mill Ridge. We are working out exactly where the drop location is going to be, but right there surrounding Mill Ridge somewhere, we are going to have a parking area where everybody can come park, and there will be a free shuttle for spectators to ride up to Mill Ridge and jump out right near Vendor Village.
Boom.
So you do not have to pay extra to park or ride the shuttle. It's included in your spectator access fee. We're going to run those shuttles the whole 2 days, the last 2 days, Saturday and Sunday. Spectator passes are available, as we said, on Disc Golf Scene. You do not have to purchase a spectator pass if you are competing in either the A tier or NT side of Music City Open. If you are a paid-in competitor, your competitor badge will also function as a spectator badge at the NT courses. Also, children 10 and under do not need to purchase a spectator badge, but they will need to be required to be accompanied by a parent or guardian with appropriate spectator or competitor access.
You got this.
I got it. I'm gonna get there.
We need your parents or a friend, someone old enough.
Also, on the other side of that coin, if you are a junior competitor in the Music City Open and you finish playing in the A tier and you want to go spectate at the NT, your parent or guardian, limited to 2 per group of children, 1 family unit, but parents or guardians do not need to purchase a spectator pass to accompany their junior competitor.
Nice.
So that's going to be limited to 2 people. So if you have one like 2 kids and you know what I mean, you want to say 4 parents. No, it's 2 parents or guardians per group of children. So, you know, we're going to try and keep a lid on this because this money is what makes it possible to host a national tour event, because you have to add a lot of money into it. So also, if you've noticed, most events are charging way more for spectator access. Yeah. So be happy with the $20.
Right.
I also understand that there was some confusion about whether or not competitors needed to buy a spectator badge. So there may be some of you who are registered to compete in the Music City Open and also purchase a spectator badge. So up until July 31st at 11:59 p.m. Central Daylight Time, you can go, if you find that you have mistakenly purchased a spectator pass in addition to your competitor badge, or in addition to being a registered competitor, you can request a refund. But after that, all sales are going to be final. That money will be committed elsewhere. So.
Yeah.
Anything else I'm not thinking of?
That's plenty of time to think about. Well, vendor, if you want to be a vendor.
Yeah, I did mention that's also available on Disc Golf Scene, vendor access. There are some tentative caps listed on these registration pages. They are not set in stone by any means. We right now we're wanting to monitor it. As far as overall spectators, if we get close to 1,000, then we'll start adjusting some things. And somebody asked recently if there will be day of spectator badges available at the tournament itself, and the answer is can't guarantee it. Don't know. Right. I mean, if we don't hit $1,000 in the or 1,000 spectator passes in the pre-sale, then there probably will be some left over. The closer we get to 1,000, if we go over 1,000, then that's where, I mean, it just depends on the interest. Right now, we're still a few months, 2-3 months away from the event. Right. So they're moving. The people are signing up. We have, I believe, over 100.
Oh, yeah.
Somewhere around 100.
Well, and some of those are about multiple, so we have
true. That's 100 some total people. So that's basically how we're going to do it. So if you are concerned that you're not going to be able to get a pass, well, you might want to go ahead and get one.
Because I feel like there may be some people that try to wait until that Sunday to buy a pass, because that's going to be the busiest day, the final day. Yeah. And we're going to be out, and they're just going to have to be hanging out at Vendor Village.
Yep. So, like I said, guys, the closer we get to 1,000, the more likely it is we're going to lock it down.
And you can pick it up before the event or at the course on that day.
Right.
So
Yep.
there were some questions about that too.
Yes, pickup will be at check-in or at the course the day of. So if you have not picked up your pass, like we will have a system set in place to check you off as you check in and get your.
Right.
And when you get to the NT course, there will be a table clearly marked for spectator check-in. So it'll be right there at the front near Tournament
Last
Central.
Cash podcast spectator check-in.
Yeah, there we go. Last cash check-in. Last chance.
Last
chance.
Can you get some flashcards over here?
Yes.
I'm having a rough time. I need to finish. I
Cash
drink some more of this
podcast.
coffee.
Last Cash. It's the Last Cash podcast. Last Cash podcast.
Can you tell we took a week off for the holiday? Off my rhythm. But yeah, Gary should be here any minute. I think he's probably going to be pulling up here in the next few minutes. So we're going to go ahead and pause, take a quick
Pause
break.
for the cause.
Pause for the cause, and we'll be back right back
After these
with another word
messages,
salad
we'll be right
with Gary Rogan.
back.
And Justin told me Rogaine, and I don't believe it. I feel like he's trying to get me to say Gary Rogaine on the podcast, and he's already succeeded.
Regain.
Man, if Gary rolls up in here and tells me that you lied to me,
We
Justin,
can't say his name. I want to hear how he says it first.
Yeah, I do too. Yeah, that'll be the first question. At least we know where we're starting. It's a good icebreaker.
And your name is, sir?
My name
And
is.
joining us tonight.
My name is Ficky Ficky. On the podcast. On the podcast. The Last Cash.
What are you doing? You putting gas in the tournament hauler for the day? Parked it. Well, I figured out the cameras finally, and I've hit the big red button.
Nuh-uh.
I did. I swear I did.
He actually let us know.
What up? Yeah, well, I can't do that to them the first
Yeah,
time.
that's true. That's true.
I usually people be
We're usually
talking, I'll just
talking
hit the button. Yeah. So, but anyway, I'll spare you guys that. Golf snaps to our guest this evening, Gary. Now, tell me, is it Rogaine?
It's just Rogan.
Rogan?
The I is silent.
Dude, I was trying to say Rogian, and then
Wait, we got Rogan on the podcast?
Dude, Justin Morris's dumbass told me it's Rogaine, like the hair product. Like, dude, I know you're messing with me right now, but I'm gonna even go
But
with
I
it.
hear that all the time. My favorite one is either Rogian. I like when they try to get fancy with it. They're like, Gary Rogian?
It's
And I'm like,
French?
no.
That's not it. That's not it.
Rogian is good.
Yeah.
Okay.
They try to pronounce, but just
Rogan is easy. I can say that
Yeah.
all day.
My grandfather added that I for fun.
Ellis Island funsies.
Yeah, just to, to make us all have fun the rest of our life instead of just
Yeah.
being normal.
He didn't want he separated himself from the family. Like,
Are you related to
And who's your
Joe?
guest? This is your son, yes?
That's my son.
I'm Hunter.
Hi, Hunter.
Nice.
How you guys doing?
Nice to
Awesome.
meet you.
up,
Nice
what's
to
up?
meet you.
So, for those of you guys who have no idea who these guys are, you guys are out in Dixon, members of the disc golf club in Dixon, and you guys, you've kind of I don't know how the club's working these days. So, are you on the board of directors? How's it all?
Oh, we're so small. I'm president. I'm
I'm the king.
Prez.
I'm the king of town.
Right.
Yeah.
But we've had remember Sean Sin, president when I first started playing. But these guys have. I'm lucky enough to where I don't have to work very much. So I had Sean Sin and Jeff Snyder, the Snyder boys, but they all have to work so much they didn't have time to really plan everything out. So we went from like last year. I think we had 4 bag tags for the whole year. Now already I got it set up to where we're having one every month. So we get everybody used to having a schedule and coming out. So we're trying to grow membership like that. But those guys just had to work so much. It was hard for them to put as much time into it as, you know, how much time it takes to run the club.
Yeah, we all do. Yeah, and now I've passed it on to these guys.
Yeah.
Because we got a real nice course out there.
Yeah, it's amazing. We talk about it on the podcast quite a bit. I know it's almost unfortunate that it's such a good course and it's the only one there because it's kind of a shot in the foot for trying to grow the sport there. You get somebody out for their first round and you play Buckner and it's like they never want to touch a disc again.
Oh yeah,
like,
they're getting
not fun.
You're definitely getting hundreds. You're like, if you've never played disc golf when you go to Buckner, you're getting hundreds.
Oh yeah,
when you're losing discs. You know, I mean,
that lake too's bad.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And that's on the
I
shorts.
used to have some discs.
Yeah.
But once you get used to it, it's really fun. I mean, it's really a fun course. I love it.
Oh yeah, I've had a lot of fun from the short tees, not so much from the longs.
I haven't played much long.
Is it time for me to tell my Logan Bauer story again?
I don't know. I got a story about Buckner.
Do you have a story about Logan Bowers?
I do.
What happened?
I might have told it like once or twice before on the show.
What?
The grand opening tournament at Buckner, I tied with Logan Bowers in the first round.
Dang.
4 down, short tees. He had a bad day. I had a good day.
How'd you finish?
DFL. After the second round, I went from lead card to DFL from the long tees. What's your Buckner story, Marcus?
I went to the course before it was actually a course.
Okay.
To meet with one of the ladies over at the right-hand side. I guess when you like driving up to the course, what's the little office right there where the one police car is always there?
Yeah, that's where you used to get your driver's license at a long time ago. That was the old DMV.
No way.
Yeah.
I had no clue. I can kind of see that.
The West Side DMV.
Yeah. But,
What site?
Me and Will Schustrick were trying to bid on who was going to help design the course. And HB Clark ended up winning.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Isn't it? This is Dixon Disc Golf.
It would have
I feel
been
like I've seen that
if I had
as
to-
a team name.
If it was me, it would
Like
have been
Dixon.
too.
I don't.
That might be a different Dixon.
Probably got guys from Jeremy Laser and
Yeah.
Ramey,
Yeah.
blast from
and
the
Sean
past.
Sin and them. All those guys left our club. Not left our club. I mean, when we weren't doing anything, and they come to Nashville to.
Yeah,
We got like, man, turn it the teacher.
Jeff Lorenz.
Jeff Rance? Yeah.
yeah.
I love
Sarah
that guy.
Hoyle?
Yeah. He plays with you guys more now than us. But
Try,
just 'cause-
try to keep that.
oh yeah, just because it's more. That's why I try to get this club going on a month, every month, no matter what, so people can know that it's going to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Right.
try to get some of our players back.
The real difficulty is with with one course, and it's very challenging to get new people to pick up the sport and fall in love with it. That's the one thing. I mean, like you can take them down the road to Kingston Springs,
Yeah.
but that's always, and it's almost like the opposite of the problem that we've always had in Nashville, which is where like we don't have a championship course. We have to build a temp one every time we want to host a big major event, but it's like, and Dixon is just too far away to be able to use it. And then in Dixon, it's the opposite problem. You've got a big, beautiful championship course. You don't have the beginner course that it's easy to take people out for their first couple rounds and let them get the bug.
We got happy there for a minute because they had the Dixon County Parks Department called in a consultant. What is it? The Hensley Park used to be a ball golf course. Shut down.
Oh.
And they were deciding what to do with the land. And instead of giving us a new course, because out there in Dixon, our disc golf course is the number one traffic for adults in the parks.
Yeah.
Nice.
So they like disc golf out there. They appreciate it and everything, so they take care of us. But they decided to go with the splash pad. Tennessee's biggest splash pad is going to be built in Dixon. Instead of a beginner golf course. We're all hoping for a beginner golf course.
Explain to me,
Hensley.
what's the splash pad? What's the splash pad?
A little concrete slab with water shooting
This
out
is
of it.
going to be like 100,000 feet or something. It's going to be huge.
That's
Wow.
It's $14 million, I think.
God.
man.
So
I
what
could
do
put
you
in a
get?
disc golf course for 10,000.
Yeah,
10 mil. We can put a disc golf course.
10 million. 10 million. 10 million.
but the good thing about that,
Amelie,
that might
Amelie,
drive traffic
Amelie.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Over to Buckner. You're going to bring your kids out.
Yeah.
Let them play at you and the wife and the kids can go to the splash pad, or not even the wife. Not try to be,
Yeah.
but then everybody else can go play disc
Yeah,
golf while the kids
exactly.
are getting wet.
Yeah. Yeah. And that would be the best of
Or you go to
best
the
case
splash
scenario.
pad after you play
Right.
outside on a hot
Yeah.
summer day.
Yep.
And then they're like, why are you in the splash pad area, sir?
with your disc golf.
Called a splash pad. I think it's called a splash
Clean
I'm
up
pad.
just trying to wash these discs.
Just cleaning my disc, giving them a little bath. Yeah, so it's an uphill battle. I mean, like, location is one of those weird things. It can be a big factor in the success of what you're doing, but it can also, I mean, like in Nashville, I mean, yeah, it's easy to get a bunch of people at a tournament because there's just more people here. But in the same turn, it's like you look at a place like Emporia, Kansas, small town, their convention bureau, their chamber of commerce, all of them are all about getting involved in the disc golf event because it's bringing people to a smaller economy. In Nashville, the biggest disc golf event in the world is a drop in the bucket when you've got
Yeah.
$1 billion convention center you're trying to rent out.
I believe Winfield, Kansas. There's some Rogans in Winfield, Kansas, that's where they who's the big guy, the Discmania Pro, not Discmania
Dynamic Disc?
Pro that built the course in Winfield Disc Golf Course.
Eric McCabe, I believe. Yeah.
Yep, that's
Oh,
I played ball golf there 20 years ago because I got family out there in Winfield, which is right.
Yeah,
in
it's
by
real
next
close to
Emporia.
Emporia, yeah.
So I'm trying to make my way back out there.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Kansas it's a different experience playing disc golf. The wind can be brutal.
Yeah, I mean, I
Yeah.
remember being out there and the trees are not abundant out there.
No, man,
Yeah.
they're not.
I've
Picnic
been out there in a
tables.
while.
Yeah.
Picnic tables and limestone blocks are in abundance in Kansas. Well, we won't go into that.
Controversy, recreational division.
God,
There were some rules questions about a picnic table.
man,
I was there.
They weren't exactly
Rec
questions.
division, DDO. We've got questions, we've got answers.
Oh man, yeah, that was a funny story though. I'll go ahead and tell it because it's funny now. But it was the last day of the A tier at DDO this year, and so Dr. Hoy and I and our pal Tony Cisco were out there at Swope Park in Cottonwood Falls, about 50 miles away from Emporia, and we had a horrendous first 2 days because of weather and complications involving weather. And so on the last day, everything's going super smooth. We've got Rec out there playing. And we've got our last two cards coming down the stretch. There's a four-way tie from first. That's the biggest concern we've got. Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden, a guy named Chris, I forget his last name. He's also from Tennessee. I believe he's East Tennessee. He came up and he had a question. He was like, hey... So, and it was this weird situation where on hole 17 on the right side of the fairway, there's a picnic table under a tree. And these are the last two groups. So everybody else playing Rec that has already finished has now is milling about the tournament central, or they're out there watching the last two holes because there's a four-way tie coming down the stretch. So there's some people milling about on that right side of 17's fairway. And Chris comes up and and his group standing right there and concurring with what he's saying, but that said he threw his drive and everybody saw it go over and past the picnic table because there was a person standing on the far side of the picnic table and they thought the disc was going to hit him and they yelled 4 and he ducked out of the way. It went past him and they were saying that he was standing past the picnic table, so clearly the disc went past the picnic table, but when they got up there, the disc was underneath the picnic table. And there were people standing there watching, and so it's clearly like it looks like one of these spectators who might be upset that they didn't play so well, and they're seeing this four-way tie for first place coming down the stretch, picked up the disc, set it under the picnic table. That's what I thought was going on.
Dang.
Oh, that's
Shenanigans.
So, anyway, they played a provisional. He played it out both ways, but then he complicated matters further because on his provisional, he missed his putt. Like he missed his putt, then was putting back, missed that putt, and then took a practice throw. And so now he's got a penalty on either side of the provisional, and so he was asking which penalty applied, or which was he playing the provisional? Was he playing the original lot? Like how? And then what penalty applies? It got really crazy really quick, but that wasn't as bad as it got. So
It's funny because I left 10 minutes. I'm like, looks like y'all got this all squared away. I'm going to leave.
He had just left, and it was me and Tony. And Tony comes up to me and tells me, I'm talking to Chris and telling we figure it all out. We apply the right penalty, whatever. He finalizes his card. The next card, the last card, like I turn around and I'm starting to pick stuff up and pack things away and get ready to hand a trophy out. Tony comes up to me and he's like, we got another problem. And I'm like, Jesus, what now? And he says, it's the picnic table again.
Jeez.
And I was like, dude, I'm lighting that table on fire. So we come around, walk down there, and there's this guy that we saw him show up before his round, and like multiple people asked what was up with this guy because he was clearly advanced in age and he was playing really well. He was probably close to 60. I mean, like he looked like he was in his 50s. He had gray hair. He had a big, but he looked like one of those older guys that was trying real hard to be like a cool hipster type guy. He had like tattoo sleeves, a big handlebar mustache, and like a 5-panel hat. Yeah. And so everybody's kind of like, "Wow, man, the senior citizen's playing in rec." I guess it's sports for everybody or whatever, kind of jokes like that. Well, this guy is involved in this scenario where they're coming down. His drive legitimately landed under the picnic table. And he was trying to figure out how to stand behind his lie, and he says somebody in his group told him that he could move the picnic table because it wasn't a fixture, it wasn't attached, it wasn't alive, it was blah, blah, blah. Now, we've talked about this on the podcast before. Marcus had a really good experience or example recently of a sign on the course and somebody not supposed to move it, and you knew he moved it.
Yeah.
So he says, yeah, they told me I could move it. And I'm like, you can't move it.
No, not at all.
And he's like, well, they told me I could. I'm like, so that changes the rules? I was like, it's up to all of you guys to know what the rule is and not let each other break them. Yeah. And I was like, what we can do is put the picnic table back where it was, because I guarantee you there's impressions on the ground that'll show you where the frame of the table was sitting. We can put it back. We can put the disc back, and you can play it out again. And he's getting heated. He's mad because he doesn't feel like he should be penalized for something that somebody else told him he could do. And I'm like, you should know better. Yes, they should know better too, but you should know better. You're all supposed to know the rules to be playing an event like this.
Yeah.
And I said, this is a non-point like that you're making here. And he was just getting more and more irate. And at one point, he overhanded his putter into the basket that was sitting right next to us. And then he kicks another putter that was on the ground. I assumed it was his, but afterwards I thought I kind of started to feel like it was somebody else's, because he kicks this disc, and one of the people that was just standing there watching, like, looks at him and goes, "Is that really how you want to act, man? This is rec." And he's like,
"That's what I'm saying, man."
And I was like,
"You guys are battling for rec."
I went from suspecting that he was doing something he shouldn't have been doing to being like, "Thank you," and then the guy was like, "Why don't you just mind your own business?" and got all up in his face. And I was like, all right, I grabbed a hold of him. I was like, you're coming with me. You go that way. And we're going this way. I was like, and now he was refusing.
Get him, Coach.
He was refusing to finalize his card. He was refusing to sign off on the paper card. And he's sitting there arguing with me at Tournament Central. And I'm like, look, man, you're about to start a physical altercation and get yourself disqualified after the last round of this event should already be over. Like, you need to just get the heck out of here.
What was the end goal, though? I'm not going to
I have no idea.
sign off. I'm just sit here until you guys get tired or something.
Until they agree or something?
There's no... That play was not a good play.
Yeah.
At all.
Until the picnic table just magically vanishes and somebody lights it on fire.
And then he said, at one point, I'm telling him, this is what's going on. You need to finalize this card and leave. And he's like, and he gets all quiet and looks down at his feet. And then he goes, you know what really happened? And I was like, oh, here we go. Is he really going to try what I think he's about to try? And he looks up at me and he goes, I didn't touch it. They moved it. And I looked at him like this. I was like, man, you don't know me.
But now everybody knows you.
But I'm not the one. Like, you don't want to try. You don't want to push this, what you're trying with me right now. Finalize your card and get the hell out of here before your day goes even worse. And, dude, it was just, I couldn't believe it. This picnic table.
Almost started multiple fights.
We had a huge issue because there wasn't a bridge over the creek on hole 6, but we could probably fit that picnic table right over top of the limestone blocks that they're using to walk across it, and we would have had a bridge.
How about the opposite? I play rec all the time. The only tournament I really play is MCO.
Yeah.
And I got talked into playing a couple more this year just because everybody got more goofball, Justin Morris.
J-Mo.
Yeah, he was wanting to play. Come on, do this one, do this one. So I did a couple more, but I'm all about just the MCO and rec only. And I hate having to make. I pretty much let everybody know at the beginning that I'm here for recreation.
Yeah.
I'm a recreational player. I play for fun. I don't want to win. I mean, I don't care if I win or not. I'm here to have fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so usually everybody's pretty good about that. But I've been in rec groups where guys, through my disc, right under the basket, my disc was touching the pole. I picked it up, smacked the chains, walked off, and everybody we're all talking. Wayne, if y'all know him, he was my caddy.
Oh boy.
Oh
And,
man, you might as well have just carried
that
your
was
own
pretty-
bag.
so, but then the guy says, if you do that again, I'm gonna penalize you. And I was like, oh, okay, I'm sorry. I didn't. I've been using my mini the whole time, but I was just, I was like, okay, sorry about that. But I was like, I thought that was a little. I would never do that to somebody in rec on something that close, But I understand the rules are rules, but
That's one
That's one you got to enforce.
Yeah, I know.
Unfortunately,
if it's sanctioned.
Yeah, if it's sanctioned, you got to say. I mean, that's the thing, man. Is
tough.
there's two things, and I've always said this about our bag tags. There's two things that can ruin it for everybody. That's if somebody's not following the rules, or if somebody's taking it too seriously. And that's one of those weird borderline issues where it kind of fringes on both territories. But I think, like, honestly, in that situation, what I try to do is maybe phrase it a little bit differently. If I know I'm talking to a player that's newer, and just say, hey, man, I'm not going to like stroke you for this or anything, but just so you know, because people will penalize you for this. Like, you have to like, if you're going to pick up your disc off the ground, you got to mark it first.
And I told him I'm sorry. And I had to make a big deal out of it because it just, like you see, when you do make a big deal out of it, you're just going to ruin the whole rest of the round.
Yeah.
So I just said to him, I'm sorry, ran the rest of the round, and didn't do that. Well, it's not like I have a lot of ones that land underneath the basket anyway. So
Well,
but I know what you're talking
in
about.
the rec division, though, the assumption should be that this person just doesn't know, and it's an opportunity to educate them. But I've seen people that I know well at tournaments. I've invited somebody to play. They're playing in an amateur division. It's their first tournament. They don't know all the rules. And I saw at one point a good friend of ours. It was his first sanctioned tournament. He took a practice putt after the 2-minute warning, and another good friend of ours climbed all over him. And made it to where, like, because the person that he climbed all over wasn't one of those people that you just randomly, you don't know me, and all of a sudden you're in my face. So a serious altercation could have developed really easily then.
Yeah.
But it's like one of those things. It's like, hey, we should all not get our feelings hurt about rules this easily. Like, we should be able to have a rule infraction called on us and be like a good sportsman maybe, and say, oh yeah, man, yeah, my bad.
Because at the end of the day, it's just disc golf,
I mean, if you know
Yeah.
for a fact you didn't do it and you have some ground to stand on, it's another thing. But it's like, it should be an easy thing to do, to have a rule called on you and to call a rule on somebody else without people getting all wound up.
Yeah.
That's why disc golf works anyway, with the
Self-policing.
right.
Yeah.
That really makes it work.
Yeah, and it should make it work until now. It's like you have a bunch of players that don't know the rules, and they're all crying for there to be a marshal on every card. And it's like, or you guys could just, do what players have always done and read the rules.
That's
Before
why
you
I
get
got
there,
into
yeah.
disc golf because of the laid back. Everybody's attitude. It's a different vibe than basketball. Well, I mean, I played basketball in school and all that stuff. About playing in the park and calling fouls on basketball. It's a serious business, and people get disc golf is just like, hey, it's all good, man.
Yeah.
Also, I think it's interesting
We're having
about
fun.
ball golf is they almost never take a drop without getting an official to come over there.
yeah,
and I'm
yeah,
like,
yeah.
think about how many times in disc golf, I mean, there's not an official to call over, but it makes the game that much faster because they have to wait 15 minutes
For somebody
to
to
get
come
an
look at it.
official
Yeah.
and to mark a lot, to take a drop. And I'm like, it's complicated that the top pros in the world that have been playing this for 20 years still have to, have an official watch them drop the ball and make sure it's in the right spot. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like they could make it.
That girls FPO where they had that disc like half in, half out of the water. Remember everyone? I remember I was watching it live.
Yeah.
I don't remember where it was at, but man, it took them all
Yeah, there's been
20 minutes to decide if it was in or out.
Well, and I've seen even worse situations where it's never there's never a consensus that's reached, because this is the whole thing is you have to decide how that just played before you move to the next hole. And at a big tournament, or at a lot of big tournaments, you see these situations where people are moving on to the next tee pad, and one of the players in the group is still not in agreement about the way that the score on the previous hole was carded. And now you've got a big problem because the whole idea is the group must reach a consensus. If the group cannot reach a consensus, you play a provisional. But, you see it happen all the time at the top level of the sport where the provisional isn't played. People end up arguing with each other online because one person felt that one person was cheating. It's like, and all these accusations get thrown back and forth, and it becomes this big passive-aggressive situation when it all could have just been resolved by following the rules. Like, knowing them at least.
And then we were talking about video. Only certain cards have video, so you can't look at that like a missed Mando. If you can clearly see it on video of the top card, FPO card at Pro Worlds, but nobody on the group saw it, then it's almost like you have to know the rules, and you have to also kind of be in those level tiers. I mean, you got to be watching what everybody's doing.
Yeah,
That's a tough thing, because usually when somebody else is throwing, sometimes you're like, I'm just going to take a little mental break and get some water. And it's, you don't want to be watching.
The classic argument from the TD or staff perspective is that there's not enough staff, there's not enough spotters, there's not enough officials to go with every card, there's not enough cameras to put a camera on everybody. But what I liked what Jay said when we talked about this on a previous episode, where he was like, well, if you've got a hole like that's going to cause an issue, put a camera on that hole all day.
Yeah.
Like stick a camera at the top of the Mando watching the ribbon, you know what I mean? And just leave it, let it roll. And then you can use it because it was on it for every shot.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's one way, but it's still, man, it's like, I don't know.
I'm just thinking somebody disc hits the camera like in the first group.
Oh,
And it's
yeah,
like
yeah.
pointed away from it. And then try
What
to
about
look
those game cameras?
Yeah,
they
like
only
the
activate when something
hunting.
goes past them.
Oh, yeah,
So if
yeah.
you had like in a
Trail
Mando
cam.
situation, like the camera wouldn't come on unless you come past the Mando. And I don't know if it could,
Destroyer activated.
if it could even pick it up, but
Of course, then it's like it comes on and there's nothing there.
oh yeah, 'cause it's already gone. It's gone.
Especially if it's like, this is the pros we're talking about.
Yeah.
They're
So
they'd be
throwing
going fast.
90 miles an hour. Zing!
Oh my gosh, man! They got those guys throwing. I think there's a celebrity pro-am coming up this weekend.
Oh, is
disc
there?
golf.
Yeah.
It's like some of the goalies, Casey DeSmith,
Yeah.
and some baseball
nice.
players, and
MMA
Andrew
players,
Zimmer,
Andrew
and
Zimmer,
MMA, and Terry Miller. He's on there. Then we get to watch him play some disc golf.
Right.
He's actually
I
he
saw
can
that.
ball,
Yeah,
dude.
yeah.
Terry can ball.
I'm excited to see
Really, Kenny?
but
Oh, yeah. He's a
I want to
solid
see
golfer.
some of these MLB sidearm
Right.
like sinker baller, submarine pitchers throw some forehands and just. I mean, they can.
They're going to
throw
fly.
Yeah, they can throw 100.
I mean, how many
like,
disc golfers do you know that come from a baseball background? Telly.
Yeah,
You know what I mean, that's
Yeah,
where
exactly.
that's where he got that sidearm is baseball. He's a
they
pitcher.
just float that
He
buttery.
me and Matthew were hoping to get top 3, and we were in top 3 on that tournament for Jeremy's wife
Yeah, I
Oh,
remember.
yeah.
doing the dubs, and I was all excited. I was like, yeah, man, we're going to. Telly was behind us, and he eagled.
I remember that.
Oh,
I was just like, what? Just give it up.
He was
Like,
playing with
Yeah.
Telly or with Logan. Yeah,
Yeah, I was like,
Yeah.
them too. I was like,
Yeah.
we're not getting 3 anymore.
until Telly and Logan finish.
Yeah,
but
but eagle and 8 is like, man, that's
That's
Oh,
a
that's-
I was.
that's
I
awesome.
think we were right behind their group when that happened because I remember I was
Yeah.
playing that tournament. Jamie Miller was my partner,
nice.
and we were right behind Logan and Telly's group because I remember watching them on that hole, like watching
yeah.
each shot. It was a sight to behold, man.
How is the course maintained these days? I know sometimes the
We're-
mowing.
That's the weird
is-
thing is we're not allowed to do anything. We're not allowed to have cleanup parties like you guys have.
Uh-huh.
We're not allowed to have. It's all up to the department, and they mow now. They mow. They keep like fairways, which are about 2 60-inch mowers wide,
Yeah,
and they let the middle parts get up to about 2-3 feet. Then they'll mow it all down at one time.
yeah.
But if you can see it from the road, they mow everything because they want to make
Oh.
it look nice. But on the back.
Are you guys anybody from the club going to Parks board meetings?
Yeah,
and-
yes, I missed the good one.
Yeah.
Because I was in. I had to go on vacation. Where did we go, Hunter?
We go Memphis or something?
No. I think it was when I went to California,
Nice.
Oh, yeah.
and they're redesigning the park, and they were going to do some stuff around the lake,
Mhm.
and they wanted to make sure disc golfers were there, and because we're a big part of the park, and nobody showed up, so they put 2 trees in. I think probably going to be fine, but just to make it look nicer around the lake, but they listen to us.
I mean,
Helps
here
out, but
I would next time you have a chance to go to a meeting like that, holler at me. I'll come with
Okay.
you because it would be really. I think it would be helpful if somebody that has some background in the course maintenance, because like we're lucky here in Nashville, we have a really good relationship with Metro Parks, and they basically trust us with the disc golf portion of all the parks properties, and they just say, you let us know what you need, and for the most part, like they'll do the main mowing and stuff like that. Anything that's not real easily accessible from the road, we just have this understanding that we'll take care of it.
And they're too busy.
And they have like a really, really small understaffed maintenance crew. Most of their equipment is damaged and in for repair, and they don't have the funds to hire anybody else. So it's a big mess. But in that situation where you're at, I mean, you're already facing an uphill battle, being that the only course that you have there in town is a really, really challenging, almost pro-level course, and it's really hard to get people interested in the sport if that's the only place they have to play. On top of that, you have this tall grass to either, like, really all around your baskets and stuff like that on blind holes that are, like, over hills and stuff like that. I mean, that's a big problem, and that's going to add to the fact that nobody wants to play that course. It's already challenging, and now you can't find your disc.
And there's parts of maintenance we need done, like on 13, which that's the first water hole.
Okay.
Even on shorts, that needs to be cut back. So you have a kind of an option to kick it out instead of now they're pushing you to the water. That's why. I mean, there's so many discs in that lake. You're not allowed in the water at all.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's
people go in there and get stuff though. I've gotten a couple of mine back.
I got a bolt
story.
in there.
I tell this to everybody when they talk to me about it, and they say, I'm going to go in and get it. And I say, I had a metal flake T-bird I bought from somebody for $5. We needed to get it back.
Yeah.
I got it back, I think. No, I didn't get it back. I found some other stuff while I was walking around in there. Come out, get my towel to wipe my feet off, and blood is everywhere.
Yep.
So I cut it on something. I don't even know if you can feel it.
Probably.
So, yeah, there's beer bottles and stuff in there. People fish there all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So I went to the ER, got one stitch, $900 bill, and then went back and played disc golf again. But the $5 metal flake T-bird did not equal out to the $900.
Yeah,
right.
Super glue.
And we got I've been getting discs out of the lake there for 2 or 3 years now, pretty regular, and I'm getting most of them back. I think I've got 200 discs out of that lake just with the rake we built.
Yeah.
And I've lost that rake, so I think we're building a new one. Me and Jason Petty are going to build one this weekend, so we can start getting them out again.
Man, it seems like there's got to be some more conversations to be had about the sharing of the responsibilities there. Sorry, I didn't mean to jump in on you, Mark.
I have a really, really good relationship with the Parks Department because I talk to them all the time. I go if I need anything, I talk to them. But they kind of, I don't think they want us. They want to keep control over everything. We have to have insurance for our bag tag.
Yeah, so do we.
Okay, so I didn't even know that was a thing.
Yeah,
I thought we were just hanging out at the park playing golf.
So that's talk to the insurance agents at disc golf. Like, huh?
Yeah. And so it's just they're not wanting to. I mean, we might be able to work something out because like we wanted to. I think we've talked to them and they tell us what you want done and we'll tell the guys and see if they'll do it. Like 18, there's no path along to get out. Mm-hmm. It's just there's not really a clear path. So we're talking about cutting a tree down. Then they say okay, and then we never hear from them again. I mean, because they got their own stuff to do.
Yeah. I mean, and I think that's the thing is you're going to have some way to get through to them and convince them, hey, these are the problem areas. It's just a handful of things.
Right.
If it's too much for your guys to do, just allow us to go in there with a couple weed eaters and a mower once every couple weeks or a month in the warm months and just keep it knocked down because that'll make it more enjoyable. More people will want to use the course. You'll be able to, and plus you're not going to have people getting frustrated and yelling at each other because they're standing waiting for somebody to finish looking for their disc for 20 minutes.
Yeah. Oh, because I mean, that's how I lost my first disc ever was in tall grass.
There's just so many unfortunate things about that course. It's like it's such a great course, and to be in a town with you've got your small core group of people that are really diehard disc golfers, and you guys have always fought like hell to try and get traction and grow the game there in Dixon. And there's just so many things working against you. You don't have a course to send people to learn how to play. The first place they go, it just kicks their ass. And then you've got this beautiful course that's being neglected because the Parks Board won't let you help maintain it. Mm-hmm. They don't understand it, don't care to take the time to understand it and understand how it needs to be maintained. I mean, they don't. It's like the golf part doesn't translate to them. It's just it's Frisbees.
We got it on a whim almost. I mean, they talked to doing it, and we got 9 holes at first. And they said if we don't cause traffic with these 9 holes, then you're not getting the other 9.
Oh.
So that's how we ended up getting the whole 18 was that people showed that they liked it and everything.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, being with if you make it past it breaks you in good, Buckner, because once you get past that, that's why you get lots of really good players come out of Dixon because
Absolutely.
Well, look at the Snyder boys.
Yeah, man.
Those guys beat me all the time, both of them.
Yep.
my buddy, what's my buddy? I tell you, keep asking Hunter. It's he's the co-president. I can't remember his name right now. Young
John
guy.
Lynn,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, John Lynn.
Captain
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
America.
Yeah,
Captain America.
he's man when he's on it.
Oh,
there's
He's a
nothing to
beast,
do.
dude. Yeah, and
Yeah,
just a
he's-
good kid, too.
Oh yeah, that's the best part.
Yeah,
Yeah, he
got a
can-
good head on his shoulders. I think the one thing that we really should do, and what I can do, and we can talk more about this off the air, but like now that I'm not like weighed down with the daily operations of the club, I'm trying to take all these connections and all these resources that I've accumulated over the last few years and make them available to as many people as possible. So like I feel like a walking Rolodex, just linking people up with people. But dude, anything I can do to help you kind of get things moving in the right direction, I'm available. Like if you are going to a parks meeting or something, let me know if I can come kind of help you figure out how to promote things or whatever, because you guys have always done great work and there's a bunch of really good solid golfers there. It's just a matter of making it sustainable, getting some.
And then when I thought we were getting traction, and this, I'm not trying to. Justin and them kind of we had a splinter group too, which I totally understand because Hickman County seems like it's close to Dixon.
Oh, it's still
just as
30
far.
minutes, yeah.
So they split off and did the still and stuff, which is awesome. So I always play with those guys and stuff, but it's just as bad for them to drive to Dixon as it is for us to drive to the still. And we kind of split the group where we could have had a bigger group,
Right.
but it split in two for the west side.
I mean, and this ultimately is you can chalk it up to growing pains, because what's gonna one day at some predetermined point in the future, it's going to be this magic moment where it's just going to slide into place and click, because you're going to have, like you've got the broken still. We've got McCord Park going in. So you're going to have more private courses popping up in the area. And then slowly, like if we can kind of get things moving with the parks department, we could get another, like a 9-hole in the area, or even just a shorter 18. And then all of a sudden you're going to realize you've got 10 courses that you guys are rotating.
It'd be great to have
through.
an Ethan Page look-alike
Yeah.
type situation in Dixon.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome to, that'd be awesome no matter what. I mean, I like Ethan Page anyway. It'd be fun to just go out and, because, Dixon, you're putting half an afternoon into playing Ethan Page. You can run through that in an hour.
You know what I've always thought would be, and I don't know if I've ever mentioned this to Jeff or anybody else that's kind of been in leadership of the Dixon Club, but you look at what Lance Kirby has done at White House. When we got those veterans out there, and now you have the T1s that are in a kids course format. So that's an option that hasn't been explored really for Buckner Park, is you could put a different sort of target out there, install some shorter pin locations, and you could have a more beginner-friendly course that plays simultaneously in tandem with that.
That's great. I graduated from White House in 90. When I lived in White House, though, we had 2,000 or 3,000 people living there, and there was that park wasn't even there, I don't think.
Yeah.
It was totally different, because I went there to play, and I was like, man, this ain't the town I grew up in.
His house is an arboretum now.
Yeah, the house I grew up in is an arboretum or something like that.
Wow. But yeah, man, I mean
it's
that would be
tiny.
something, and we could. I mean, if you had the go ahead and the green light from the Parks Department, it wouldn't be hard to do the fundraising to get an extra set of baskets to put out there.
Well, we were all worried about somebody. I've always heard stories about our department, like you guys got in trouble for coming out there, didn't you?
We didn't get in trouble.
Y'all didn't get in trouble. We got in trouble after y'all left, I think.
I think that was what it was. is
Yeah,
the Parks
so
Department there.
We've always been real chill and everything because we didn't want to get bothered with the Parks Department. But then we had that NADGT tournament that got started in 2 weeks. It took them 2 weeks to get it all up and going. We never even thought about doing anything like that because we were worried about
Was there any
repercussions
issues?
from
Or
bringing people out.
was it a successful event? Any issues?
Oh, yeah.
I think it'd be good. I would love to come to a meeting out there with you and just to ask some questions of the Parks Department and kind of see where the disconnect is, because I know from my experience working with our Parks Department that it's this weird tightrope to walk where you're telling them the information that they need and they're not like tuning you out.
No, that's the thing. I think it's probably more my fault. I'm sure it's my fault. Like, I'm scared to ask them stuff or to do stuff or what I've heard from other people. To where I'm more trying to get just this bag tag thing going and getting people in, and I'm not worried about the Parks Department as much. But like, I know that I need to talk to them and get stuff done to make it easier to play and all that stuff. And it's probably me being too timid with to go up and do or something like, you know what I mean?
Well, it's almost exactly like with planning a tournament. You know, people hate surprises. So it's like if you spring something on somebody last minute about a tournament, like if there's something funny about the way the ace pot, or like say for instance, you're trying to raise some money for something with this tournament. So you say at the players meet, or like after the at the end of the second round or something, oh, if nobody hits the ace pot, it's being donated. Well, if you say that after the second round, all of a sudden everybody's pissed. Mm-hmm. But if you had said it when you first posted the flyer about the event, when you first built the registration page, if it says it in the about section, if nobody hits the ace, it's going to be donated to this. As long as you tell them out front. So it's almost like with the parks department. I find that where you end up in hot water with parks a lot of times is if they're surprised by something. Oh, yeah. If they roll out on the course and they see a pile of materials they don't know anything about, and all of a sudden it seems like somebody's just going off half-cocked without getting approval or anything, well, now all of a sudden not only do they have questions, but they feel slighted a little bit, or they've given you an inch and you've taken a mile. So the best way to do that is to have the annoying, awkward conversations out the gate and just get it all out on the table and say, look, these are the problems that we've got. This is the reason why we're not able to get as much traffic as we should on this course. If we could do this list of things and figure out a way to get these done, we'd have a lot more success.
And they are totally happy with the traffic we have now, because there's more than they thought we would ever have. They thought it was a waste of money at first when we first put the baskets in, so they're not really worried about growing it. They're totally happy with what we have now. So that's why. And
are you just happy with the minimum flare?
We're not happy.
The minimum piece
you can't
of
just
flare?
have the minimum flare.
Right? Oh yeah. Oh,
yeah, no, it's office space. So.
Yeah. So I mean, that's flare. This kid, you should see his flare on his bag.
Oh, he's got a bunch of pins.
Got a bunch of pins
It's
everywhere.
Oh, I'm collecting them.
Bling,
Yep.
bling.
I feel that.
He has maximum
nice.
flare.
I like it.
But
Style.
yeah, it's not my fault. I know
Flare
it's not my
bender.
fault. But yeah, they're super happy with how we act because we're super family friendly.
Oh yeah.
They don't bother us at all. I've never had my bag searched, or they don't ever ask me anything about nothing. But there's no drugs or alcohol, like every park.
Right.
But if you come to Dixon, you won't see it.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's also a cop shooting range there too.
Yeah.
Unless you know the right people and you play, you just won't see it.
Yeah.
Like in other parks in Nashville stuff, you'll see it.
Oh yeah.
But I mean, that's just.
What about
They
the
have
fishing? Does it ever get in the way on some of those? Like,
We let them know, and they know what we're doing now.
Okay.
They're just getting more used to us. There's
Yeah.
more traffic now because even this year, we're doubling traffic out there. Doubling traffic? I hate keeping track, but there's a lot more people out there. There's actually people out there I don't know. And I try to make a point of talking to every person I see out there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And telling them about the club.
right.
And say, hey, why don't you join? And how we'll help everybody out. And, that's
Right.
And every time I talk to somebody on Reddit or any one of those message boards, say the most important thing you can ever do is join the club.
Yeah, absolutely.
When you first start playing disc golf, join your local club is the most important thing to do.
That's the grassroots, ground
We just
level.
got a
That's where
message.
everything gets built from.
We got a message. How do I learn how to play disc golf? Like
Join
the
the club.
To the
Yeah,
club
just
email.
go
And
out
I'm like,
there.
come see us at Wednesday Night Tags. We'll talk with you. Join the club. And
So I think most
Like-
people think if they see the guys out there in the club that they're serious and they're all
Oh,
about trying
yeah.
to get something done, which we're not.
There-
I'm not.
you
I'm
can get
all
in
about
at
just having
any.
fun.
You can get in at any level.
And
what
that's
we
the
say.
thing is a lot of people have this like exclusionary. I feel like you got stuff to say and I just steamrolling over you.
No. I mean, just everybody is so happy right now.
So happy.
Well, yeah, you get
But-
in at any level.
Right.
Yeah, that's the thing is people seem to fall into these
Level up.
exclusionary mindsets where they're saying like, oh, well, because it's growing at the professional level, that means before you know it, tomorrow we're not going to be able to come out and play casual round with our friends because it's going to be too corporate and big and all that stuff. And it's like, and then like the old timers like also feel like the people that have been around the longest are afraid that it is going to become this huge mainstream thing and it's going to lose the charm and the romance that it's always had for us. But it's like it can exist as all things for all people. Yeah, if you provide a way for it to exist at a certain level for somebody, it'll exist that way.
That's what I mean. I want to keep the hippy dippy attitude. I mean, that's why I kept playing because I like that.
I like to play for fun, not
Yeah.
to win all the time.
Yeah.
Because most of the time I don't know what I'm doing out there. I'm just really
Yeah.
just throwing a disc, trying to figure out
And
what I'm
it's-
doing, how my disc flies.
There's the
Exactly.
thing too about my mom is 66 and we played together a lot. I started playing with my mom, and guys do need to think about women on the course and how they act. Because my mom, it took us forever to get her to even join the club because she was worried about playing around, being embarrassed and stuff like that. 'Cause she's not as good, and if you're just being normal, like you talk to your guys and say stuff that, if you say that to a woman or something, it might affect them different. So you gotta be real careful how you say stuff. You gotta be decent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that is kind of hard to ask for some people to be decent.
100% agree with you, and I've said this on the podcast many times. Especially when like the Respect Her Game movement started up. One of the things that I was always trying to stress to people is like, hey, because it was really kind of pointing or telling and pointed how many guys felt like defensive or reacted
Threatened.
defensively to all that. Like, why are you telling me I'm a misogynist and all this? It's not that. It's like, look, most of you guys like. That's the thing. Be aware of yourself. Don't feel attacked and feel like you're being put on the defensive, but be conscious of other people, because it's one thing. Like, I know most of my friends would never be like standing there, walk up to a girl they didn't know and like just start saying a bunch of offensive, obscene stuff. Like, most people would not do that. But I tell you one thing most of my friends would do is be standing in a group of us talking about some really offensive, obscene stuff, and absolutely oblivious to the fact that there are 3 new girls standing in a group directly behind you listening to everything that you're saying.
Right.
And that is just gonna have just as much of an effect on them and their enjoyment of this as it would be if you were saying it directly to their face. Like, oh, yeah, hey, did you see that? Like,
unless it grows equally and we get as many girls and women in, it's never going to grow to what people want it to be, like major. You have to get it. Especially nowadays, you have to get everybody has to be comfortable out on the course. And
yeah.
It shouldn't be that hard, but it's like you said, people just don't think about it enough.
I think it could all be helped by if people were just a little bit more proactively attempting to put themselves in other people's shoes.
Exactly.
Because it's not about you. I think that people react this way because they feel that they're being expected to change their personality, their behavior, and it's going to have an effect on their ability to enjoy disc golf, because they're all of a sudden, now I'm being censored and all this stuff, so it's not the free place that I thought it was and all this, and they react and they focus on that rather than focusing on, no, man, it's just a matter of like the same way, like there are things that you wouldn't say in front of your mother. You know what I mean? Well, every woman there is somebody's mom or daughter or girlfriend or wife, or you know what I mean? And you would like you censor yourself to a certain amount if you go over to your boy's house and you're around his wife and kids, and it's out of respect for him and for them. So why do we not have that same respect for other people that we don't know at the disc golf course? Because that's supposed to be the driving force behind all this.
Because some people use the disc golf course to get away.
I was about to say,
Yeah, a lot of
It's
people
like-
do.
after
they think
work
it's like
and you got to
Vegas.
let it go,
Yeah.
and you're like, I had a terrible day,
Right.
shit day. And then you're like,
It's like
it's crazy how you're like, you suck at disc golf, and you're like, oh, that's my best friend.
yeah.
And it's like you're yelling at them.
That's how we all
Like,
talk to each
you
other
suck.
too.
You'll never make this putt.
You'll miss
Yep.
that putt, and it's like $5. You missed that putt. It's like,
It
It's
is
like,
great.
it's
We're
like
bad.
disc golfers, their therapist.
yeah.
And they get,
Yeah.
like, get out
They-
there and say
they
whatever
need to
they want.
play.
Yeah.
But then again, let's think a little deeper here, because we've talked a lot on the show about how disc golf is kind of a spiritual pursuit. You know, it has a way of revealing flaws in your character or showing you like how you can develop not just as a golfer but as a person. And so I think that's one of those things, like if this is your therapy, if this is your escape, okay, well, don't like your escape from the whatever shouldn't be to, okay, well, I'm going to reserve the next 3 hours to act like a complete degenerate. And that's going to make
Yeah.
everything better.
That's
Like-
you can't explain everything. Like,
If
yeah,
you,
no.
or if you
can't.
feel like you're in a toxic mood, maybe don't go play doubles. Maybe go out to a less populated course and play a solo round and get some aggression out.
And then go to your normal
that's
course.
That's why I became Wreck for life.
Yeah.
Because I'm
Wreck for
40, what am I, 44, 45 or something like that. I don't really know right now.
Masters.
But
Master's age.
Fastest wreck.
I started out. I went from playing basketball in high school and playing at a level where I think I had a scholarship to Ball State in Gallatin, but then I didn't want to do that. But I was serious about basketball. Then I just stopped playing. Didn't play any sports until disc golf. So I got super serious about disc golf. Like I was gonna go pro or something. Which I didn't plan on that, but I got really into it to the point to where I couldn't have fun. I would miss a shot and just dog myself out, be like, get mad.
Yeah.
And then one day I was just like, this is not what I want to be doing. I'm here to have fun. I want to have fun, so I'm just good. I mean, I still try to play hard and not play, have fun and try to get, I want to play well, but I just start beating myself up about it. I'm just,
Well, I can tell by your shirt you're very serious disc golfer.
Yeah. Well, that's one of those
I like
double-edged swords too, because like you enjoy yourself more when you're playing well, but you play your best when you're enjoying yourself
Right.
too. And if you focus on one side and not the other, and I'm guilty of it as anybody, man. I have walked out of weeklies many times, and it was because I found that I was
playing Nickelback.
They were playing Nickelback and Red Hot Chili Peppers one after the other, and I was like, no,
we're leaving.
but a lot of times I've found that once I get in my head, I'm not having fun anymore. I am just a bear to be around, and so there have been times where rather than force the people that I care about that are on my card to be subjected to that for the rest of their round and not have any fun, I'll just take my ass to the car because I'm not doing anybody good.
Set yourself in its own timeout.
Right.
No timeout.
Ideally, obviously, you want to be in better control of yourself to not get to that point where your only recourse is to walk out of a round, but be considerate of others, and also remember that when you're playing golf, it's one shot at a time, man. It's like every shot exists on its own and anything can happen. And if you're expecting to get a 2 on this hole, whatever hole it may be, every single time you play it, just because you've birdied it once before in the last 6 years, well, that your expectations are unreasonable, man. You're not going to get that birdie every time.
Have
no
you
matter
ever
how well you know the hole.
accidentally hit a tree and then been so mad you're like, I'm going to hit this tree as hard as I can with the disc. You miss the tree, you hit the gap, and it goes like, yeah. Like, no, I'm going to crush this disc against the tree. I hate this disc.
And it's the best drive of your life.
And you're like, man, I should do that a lot more often.
I went over the forest.
Or you just throw it, not even thinking about it, and it goes right into the basket, and you're like, oh, why?
Yeah, you
Why?
sling it over your head, behind
Those
you. Screw this disc.
Those angry second putts. You're like, do that first.
Second
That's
shot
the best thing
always
to watch
goes in,
somebody
bro.
miss a putt, and they just throw the second one in, and they're like, every time. I'm like, well,
Yeah.
Always the second putt. Always the second putt.
Exactly.
It's all that
Mind
crap
game.
between your ears, man.
Yeah. Neurons, man.
Yeah, and I mean, like I said, I'm as guilty of it as anybody else. But lately, I've been finding
Gelatinous mess.
a gelatinous moss. But there was always a time too where sometimes I was forcing myself to play because I felt like I should want to play, and I just didn't feel like playing because I'd been working at disc golf for every day that week, and I just kind of want to go home and play video games. But everybody's like, "Hey, let's go play golf," and you're like, "Well, that's what I do, so okay." And then you're not feeling it. You go out and play anyway, and then you're just miserable the whole time. Your putts off. You're getting in your head.
Balance. Yeah, that's a tough balance.
That's
to find.
me now, the disc golf guy. I have to go play.
Administrating versus playing, and that fine line.
Yeah, and I'm getting back to a point now where I actually look forward to playing, and I'm enjoying it. And it's funny how it works. Now that I'm starting to enjoy it again, I'm starting to play better.
Yeah, it took me a while to get into it too because I've been playing for about 2 years now. The first year I was on and off. That's when he was going all hard. Like, you gotta throw it this way or this exact footing and all. And I was like, man, I'm just trying to throw a disc. And And then now we're starting to have fun and everything. I'm actually going out. I got my own bag, got my own disc, and it's been a lot more fun. I've been getting a lot better too. Yeah. I really like it that much because that's what disc golf is for, just to have fun.
What's your go-to disc? Do you have a couple go-tos or
a Jelly Bean? I like it a lot. TL3,
Ooh, Jelly
and then
Bean.
Firebird, T-Bird, wasn't it? The orange one you gave me? I think it's a T-Bird.
Nice.
Thunderbird or the T-Bird?
Yeah, I think so.
Something with a bird in it.
Yeah.
Well, what's it look like real quick?
It's orange, has that blue print on it.
Oh, that's a felon, ain't it? With the Dixon one.
Be dynamic,
Detective.
folks.
Because we have.
I was pointing at the camera.
But, have you guys seen our club disc? I can't believe I didn't bring that. Our club disc.
I have not. Oh,
the 2020 club disc.
The fish on it?
Yeah.
Jeff gave me one of those.
Yeah,
I've got one in one of my boxes somewhere. Yeah, man. It's you guys are doing the Lord's work out there though, and this is the cool thing. This is also one of the many things that I would advise anybody to do if you're trying to generate some interest in your local club and try to maybe inject some more excitement and some new blood into there. One of the best ways to do that is to bring around some cool, innovative, new stuff. Maybe provide some experiences, some frills, some fringe benefits that people aren't seeing at every event, at every club that everybody's doing. And one of the reasons that you reached out about coming on the podcast is because you guys have managed to bring in a new sponsor for Dixon. And this is a rare one for me, guys. Very rarely does anybody approach me on the podcast or in life in general and bring something to my attention that I was completely unaware of. But there is a company making these really, really cool disc retrievers called Drive Disc Golf. Why don't you hold that thing up for the camera
nice,
there, buddy?
Beautiful case they have here.
Yeah, a little carrying case.
And
yes.
this is it in its folded position. Folded? That wouldn't be right. What would
Sheath.
you say?
D
It has a
telescope.
sheath.
Sheath?
Sheath your sword.
All right. This is the Emerald model, which is the new and improved one.
Ooh, emerald.
So fancy.
Right.
That looks like a pool cue.
It does. It looks
That'll fit
exactly
in your
like a
backpack
full cue.
easy, and that little slot, in every backpack. Like, what is that for? On the side,
Little cappy comes off of there.
and then wham, 18 feet. And I'm pretty sure this is carbon fiber.
Hey,
guys.
we're going to find out how big the studio is.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I know it ain't 18
No,
feet.
it ain't 18 feet. But we can keep going. Oh, the corner to corner.
Oh, yeah. It's going. She'll go across the entire diagonal wingspan of the Sapphire Lounge, ladies and gentlemen.
we got-
Yeah, we don't have to push it all the way.
Yeah, but I mean, and this thing is
It's light.
how I know the
It's super
company
light.
is
That's what I was surprised about, how light it was.
I've had one of these for 2 years now. I broke my well, let's say the name of the other company because it's not their time now. But I broke my other retriever, and I was on eBay looking for a new one, and I found this company, and it was the same price as the metal ones.
What is it made out of? Fiberglass?
Carbon fiber.
Carbon fiber. Oh,
Bulletproof.
So same price as the metal one, and I've been using it for 2 years, and then I was online. I put a picture of my cart online, and I
Yeah.
had this on the side. I made a little holder because if you buy a oar holder for a canoe, it fits this exactly.
That's awesome.
Nice.
And it'll slide. So I had it, and the owner of the company got into contact with me, which I didn't know that's who it was. And was like, was asking. I made modifications to it. I put that yellow hook you see on there on mine,
Yeah.
and he was asking me about that. And we started talking more. And he's like, I help out clubs all the time. And I was like, man, we need all the help we can get. And so he sent us a ton of these knee pads and stickers and these two, and I'm going to end up giving these away.
Boom.
Soon. Me and Jeff and John are going to decide at a tournament we're going to have. Then we're going to give away both of these, and I got all that stuff. You guys, anybody wants one, they can have one of the knee pads and
Pass
stuff.
this over here. I want to
Where do
hold
they?
this up in the
If
good
somebody's
light here.
interested in checking out online, or how do they get
Yeah,
one
I
of
got it
those?
at eBay.
It's like emerald
I'm at
color.
is Drive, and they have DriveDiscGolf.com. Hey, I'm not a salesman.
I'm curious about
This
this
thing is
DIY
impressive, man.
VE drive.
I like that green a lot on it.
And this
Yeah,
thing that we're
that's-
holding up, this is a knee pad mini. This is actually like a foam core knee pad mini here. It is dimensions of a PDGA approved mini. You could use it as a mini and put it down under your knee so you don't get little gravel holes in your kneecap.
Innova and Prodigy minis, they fit perfect. The nanos,
Yeah.
they don't fit in there as well. But you know.
Ah.
Well, Innova is the most.
You can just slide them right inside
Yeah.
there.
And you mark your disc, then you take your knee pad out. And that makes it softer. So I know some guys were trying to use them with just flipping their mini over.
Oh, yeah.
And you take it out, and that mark your disc. That makes it easier makes it work a lot better.
You don't have the hard edge or
Right.
digging into your
Yeah.
bones.
right,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah, all that stuff is cool. So is their main thing just like the retrievers? Okay.
And he got a. I didn't bring it because it's. I haven't used it yet as much. I'm testing a new product for Drive, which is a retriever that has like almost a rake that goes on the backside.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty impressive, and I hope that we can do something. Because it'd be almost like you'd be able to give any disc if you had it, and we can work out the bugs on it. It'll be the ultimate retriever: water, air, trees.
Ooh.
You can snatch it right out of the sky.
I was just
pretty
thinking
much
the same
Screw
thing.
you, Conrad. Shot of the century, my foot.
So I mean,
It's like a hawk.
the guy,
Yak 'em.
Take out the birdie.
Eric's the owner, and he's a great guy. I mean,
I would love for you to shoot me his info off the air, and I'd love to talk to him on the show.
And if you're in Nashville, I think Sean at this Nashville Disc Golf is going to be a retailer too. I hooked those two guys up.
Good.
Okay, nice.
So you could have, options. So if you don't, you can go down. You can go on eBay and look up Drive. It's just DRYVE, or go to Sean.
Yeah.
I'm interested in how many disc golf retrievers there are now. Like, I know everybody's had like a modded out. I remember in Rochester, New York, there was the guys with the PVC rakes, putting like 3 rake heads on a PVC pipe that floated out in the water. And now there's 4 or 5 disc golf retrievers besides like the golden retriever and the ones that are similar to that, but like these, and it's I remember there's 5 disc golf retrievers.
The first retriever I ever had, I got a ball retriever, like a Callaway golf ball retriever.
Yeah.
And I just cut a quarter of the ring out of it. So it just had like the plastic ring was there, so you could just like pick it up or drag it or whatever.
Yeah.
That's the head I put on mine.
I was ahead of the curve, man. I knew that the telescoping rod format.
Well, they're ahead of the curve at Cedar Hill.
Yes,
they have
I remember you showing me this picture.
A long bendy pole to get stuff out of trees.
That really, that's more for water retrieval.
Yeah, but you could see that's basically like the capturing portion of the golden retriever device right there, and then by fixing that to the end of the telescoping rod,
Get all that
it's actually effective instead of being at the end of a string that you can't control.
What about that guy on the Jomez video at DDO, hole 16? They had that thing that went underwater. It was like a little submarine and had a claw on it, and they were driving it with like a little computer on
camera,
top.
yeah.
I'm like, coming soon for $2,000 at your local disc golf retail.
James Cameron in Titanic 3, the return of the Sidewinder.
This is how I get everybody's disc back in Buckner. But I've lost that thing. So one of our members has it.
Oh yeah,
And I got
It's like an aerator.
I have 100 foot of
rope.
What's that stupid disc?
Nylon?
Where you dry your clothes.
big old rake, dragging on a rope.
Yeah.
Hanger?
And that gets us.
Did you see it? Take a look at it.
I get about 50% of the disc back out from that. But we don't even like Kingston Springs allows the diver to come in once a year to clean it out.
Jeff and Sarah have been in there diving.
All right,
for this.
and we don't. So if you lose a disc, you have a chance of losing it forever at Buckner because
Hey, scuba divers, come to Ravenwood.
And by the way, if you guys
Talking
haven't played at
about
Buckner
100.
Park, it's real hard to stay out of the water. There's a lot of water.
yeah, and
Not too hard,
10,000 leagues.
Well, you see my name up there on the screen. If anybody wants to play Buckner, all I gotta do is go with me on Facebook or whatever. And
I got you covered, man.
you have a crew, an instant crew will come and play with you.
Yeah.
And sometimes we do fires at our house too, where we play at our own course and all that stuff. We play all night long, so we.
Oh, we've had that.
I like
So you
that.
guys have a home course too,
Right,
Yeah.
it's 4 baskets,
Okay.
but
We have it set up for 9 holes.
we run it both
Makes
directions. Then we have a special set.
Nice.
We're sitting on 40 acres, but we don't use that much, and it's more like I said. My mom plays with us, and so there's not much elevation change. The longest hole is 3,320 or something like that. The most is 250s. Easy stuff to.
Yeah.
But we'll have at least 2 or 3 times a summer. We do all night fire,
Nice.
drinking,
Yeah.
camp.
fun.
Yeah, I like it.
It'd be
3
fun to do like
Low
a
round.
like a frisbee festival camp out weekend and do just play like guts and DDC and just like random frisbee games and stuff. That'd be fun.
I mean, that's
And
what
then
we're
at the end, have a singles round at Dixon Long.
Yeah.
Be like, hey, stay up all night and play.
Dixon messed me up because I played probably 75 times in a row at Dixon. Then I come out to Seven Oaks. So I was just used to just giving it 100%.
Leaning in, baby.
So a whole 6, I did that. I rolled down the hill. I rolled off the hill, down the hill. Everybody's laughing at me. I'm just like, they're like,
Dang.
you don't have to throw hard as you can every time. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
You don't have to throw 100% every time?
Floaty putters.
See, that's the thing, man. If you play at and everybody always going back and forth on the whole golf course versus woods thing, and it's like, man, I'm gonna tell you, you should do both.
Yeah.
Because if you only play in the woods,
You're going to be 100%.
you're never gonna consistently get over 400 feet on your drive. I mean, and if you only play in the open, good luck piping a gap, like
I was thinking about the safety.
and riding a tunnel fairway for 300 feet.
The safety of tee pads, like it's almost a skill to, if it's a shorter tee pad. I mean, you want to be
Adjust your
safe,
steps,
but
yep.
if you can adjust it, or you have to throw with like a 3-step run up versus a 20-step fly off the tee pad. So it's I feel like that's a certain skill. Or if it's
See,
inclement
James
weather.
Conrad wouldn't like Seven Oaks.
No, he would do fine there. He
would do
can
fine.
throw.
He just has to throw his putter. He can just throw the envy on everyone.
He can-
Remember when
with his
Simon
steps,
came?
it's like a one step.
Yeah.
Simon came and he had a lot of trouble with Seven Oaks until he
Yeah.
just started throwing his putter on every hole, and then it
It
was
took
like,
me a
oh,
long time to get used to tee pads, but I always thought I'm tall. I'm 6'6", so it took me a long time to get used. I always thought the more the better. So my last step would be all max almost when I was doing the splits until I learned to calm down and I didn't have to do all that.
And see, that's an example of a small tee pad or something that's not ideal serving a purpose, because if you have a hole and you only have this little tiny space, you have to learn to adjust the size of your steps, and you really get that intimate understanding that the run up, all it does is get you to the place where you throw.
That's a good designer too. If he shows you get a small pad, you don't have to go 100% to get it to the basket. So yeah, most designers know not to put a super long tee pad on a.
But then you
hole.
Was it Emporia Country Club? They try to make a little narrower tee pads to try to force you to. They wanted to just throw in a certain direction, and then they had to widen them out a little
That's
bit.
not the way to force that.
Nah, that doesn't sound like a good idea.
No, I mean, and this is why. I mean, I do think there should be standards. And does every hole need a 13x6 tee pad? No, but that's the thing is these pros now are throwing a country mile. Their run ups are getting bigger. Courses are getting longer in general. Discs are flying farther. And the biggest concern is safety. The thing that can push a lot of progress backwards is somebody getting sued and a course getting ripped out of the ground or something like that. And if you start manipulating the size and shape and dimensions of your tee pad to force people to do something you want them to do, then somebody breaks their ankle.
I think you have to do a little safer, because also they're trying to throw putters, just slower disc further.
Yeah.
And so... yeah, if you can throw a driver, not take too many steps, versus throw a putter and just really put it in there. I mean, that's what Conrad. I mean, but then it's so much more controlled.
Yeah.
So it's
a lot of people don't spend a lot of time with their putters either.
That's
What's practice, bro?
Right.
All the guys I play with, usually the crew I usually play with, I cannot get around without keeping score. I always talk about, let's not keep score this round, but they got to keep
every
They
time.
got to keep score.
I know a guy like that.
And I don't. I want to.
I'm trying to break
But
my ways, man.
we had
Is
that
that you,
one
Roy,
day.
really? Is that you? Are you that guy?
It's hard to practice that way. 'Cause
Would
wanna-
you guess anything different? I got spreadsheets on spreadsheets.
It's hard to practice that way when people are keeping score because you don't want
Trying to do your best no matter what.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You want to.
Well, man, I can tell you, and this is
I've
something.
done it.
See, I just like throwing disc out of people bags, so I'm just like, hey, can I throw one? One more? Just one more?
Yeah.
5-hour round?
Something that I've been reminded of recently, man, is like, I remember that when I first started, like 90% of the golf that I played, I was at Crockett Park by myself, throwing extra shots, learning how my discs worked. And I started thinking about it, I was like, man, it's been years since I played a solo round. Like, just without anybody else, just me, my mind, my extra shots, all the discs in my bag, spending the time thinking about what I did wrong, trying to correct it in my head, and actually practicing. And so within the last week or two, I went out and randomly got around in at Crockett Park just by myself, and really felt like I learned a lot about what I needed to work on in my game. And then this weekend, Saturday, I went up to Paducah to play in Virginia
P-Town?
Hawthorne's Throw Pink, Dr. Hoy's
That's where I'm
stomping
from.
grounds. And if I could figure out how to putt, man, I'd be doing great. Like, I was getting off the tee. Like, nobody. There was this hole 8 at Stuart Nelson. You know this one.
I know.
That it's basically like a 70-degree right-hand dog leg, 100 feet off the tee pad, narrow tunnel, trees on either side of you, and about 100 feet down the fairway, it turns about 70 degrees to the right and rolls out straight for another 300 feet. And I think the short pin is at about 380 feet.
Yeah.
So we get up to this hole. There was a backup. There was like 2-3 groups. So we sat there, wait. And the group in front of us gets out. They had 2 spotters out there. One of the spotters came back and said, he's telling us, all right, yeah, so we'll come and let you know when you're clear, and then you'll throw, bro, just giving us the little spiel. And he starts to leave, and he goes, oh, and nobody's 2'd this yet. We've had some 3s, but no 2s. And I looked at J-Mo.
J-Mo.
And I said, that sounds like a double dog dare. And the spotter turns around and looks at me. He goes, "It's a dirty double dog dare." And I looked at Justin. I said, "I don't know, Justin. Should I go big nuts on this one or what?" And he goes, "I mean, if you got them, whip them out.
That sounds like
You
him.
gotta run out at some time." And so I was like, "All right." And I put Mulligan Man back in my bag because I was gonna throw a truth. I was just gonna try and get around the bend, park in the middle, and have a nice little easy hyzer shot up to the green. Because after you take this turn and ride it out 300 feet, the basket is then tucked into a pocket of trees on the left hand side of the forest. So I was like, screw it. I ran down the fairway, yanked on that thing, and it hit the gap at the just right elevation, right angle, and speed, and it made that turn and just sailed out of sight. All down the tunnel, and everybody was going, what, losing their minds. I'm like, yeah. And so I get out there, and the spotters come back, and they're saying, "All right, you're over here, you're over here, you're over here. Which one of you threw that last shot?" I was kind of like, "Man, you're way down there."
Yeah.
And I get down there. I was parked like 15 feet from the basket. I'm
Dang.
like, I'm gonna get that too, baby. I whiffed my putt.
Man, I missed more putts from 15 feet, I think, than anywhere. Like,
That's because you think you should make them.
yeah,
You didn't want it enough,
You're
bro.
longer out.
Take it for granted.
Yeah,
We
man.
just
You gotta want
watched
it, man.
the Solstice first round and three in
I
a
didn't
row.
win the Hellcat.
Snappy Cole, who took it down, missed 15 feet or shorter putts. Like hit the basket like 16, 17.
It's amazing.
It was 15, 16, 17. And
It's amazing he won after missing all those
then he
putts.
twos 18
Right.
in the first round.
Yeah, and it was like you're watching the video doing the commentary. You're like, "Oh man, right off the top of the cage again." He's just having a really rough time on the green this round, and then the scores pop up, and he's like 6 down, head of the pack. You're like, like, he's really getting off the tee.
What's going to happen second round?
Yeah, and that's the thing is like, man, that's a testament to the greatness of a player. If you've seen them struggle and the leaderboard still has them in front, like,
That is crazy.
like, what are you taking? But yeah, that's exciting stuff for Dixon, man. And as I said before, let's stay in touch. And if there's anything I can do, and like, if we can use the podcast as a platform to get information and promote some stuff that you guys have going on, if I can put you in touch with anybody that might be a useful resource for you, just holler at me. I'm down to do it.
I don't get out to Nashville. Just like you guys don't get out to Dixon much, I don't get out to Nashville much because laziness.
Yeah.
I go 5 minutes down the road and play my home course.
Yeah.
I don't really want to drive an hour to go play Seven Oaks. But I do love Seven Oaks. I love going down there.
It was fun.
It's real
See,
fun.
it's the same thing for me. I love Buckner, and every once in a while, I'll let the Snyders talk me into coming out there and getting around in. And I always say to myself when I leave, like, man, it's too bad the course isn't closer to Nashville. It's like
Isaiah and Jacob, man, are getting
so good,
good, man.
Yeah.
so good. I remember, dude, they've been beating me for the last 3 years.
And they
Dang.
don't miss putts either.
No,
It's awesome. And you got to watch them grow up. And
they're so good. They're such great kids, too.
Yes.
Yeah.
That whole family is just a joy to be around, and it's. I mean, you can't say enough good things about the Snyders,
Jeff's
man.
a great guy.
Yeah, and I always have a good time, and I love the Dixon fam, and I know, and that's always been the thing is we've tried to kind of be a springboard for you guys in the past, and kind of try and lend a little bit of our momentum to you, and I think the best thing is just to. I mean, if I can help you put some things in place at the ground level that'll make it easier for you to bring some new people in, I think that's the move. If we can work on the parks department and get them to let you guys have a little bit more autonomy with the course,
That is a good idea to think about because I know we're not going to get the easy course now.
No, yeah.
Because we're kind of hoping we were hoping we would with another park, but that's not happening. So we might have to go to seeing about setting up other baskets or getting different pin locations to have shorter stuff.
Because, you guys can play from long to another set of baskets.
Yeah.
You don't have to play from the short to another
Right.
set of baskets. So I think if you use the long positions and then put like baskets in other different spots,
because
that'd be
that's
like,
where we are lucky that we do have two different sets of tee pads.
Right.
Like, a lot of people play longs have different baskets, but two different tee pads. We could change those tee pads around, like you said. That's
Pretty much two
it's great
courses
being
in
around
one.
new people. They have new
That's
ideas.
what I was- that's what-
right?
yeah.
Because I never even thought about using the longs to.
Make another course.
Right.
Well, you're seeing that
Yeah.
more and more now. Like Seven Oaks has 2 baskets on
Right.
a lot of the holes. White House, and then in Stuart Nelson, has 2 baskets out on the course.
Every hole now.
That's how it was in Memphis a lot too. We saw a lot of courses like that had 2 baskets.
Yeah, it's becoming a trend because it's easier to provide variety for a lot of different players, and then it's less maintenance, And then all you have to do if you have a big tournament and you're only playing to one layout, you just take the lock out, pull the basket, set it in the woods.
So there's no confusion.
Yeah.
I've actually did that in a tournament. I think shot the wrong basket.
And a good opportunity too is like you look at these places that are replacing baskets at their courses. See if you can get a really smoking hot deal on old baskets. You can throw those up in the short pins, and you could go through and with somebody that's an experienced designer and has experience with tournament play to go through and look at the layout that you have and come up with some new pin locations for a beginner layout, because even the shorts there are challenging.
Yeah, they're extreme.
So if you come up with an even shorter beginner layout and then park some older baskets in those pins under most circumstances, that would solve 90% of your problem there, because new players could go out there and actually enjoy the course.
Get warmed up to actually do the actual tees.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be smart.
It's not a bad idea. And that's the other great thing about having these kind of relationships is like
we can get it out there now too.
Yeah.
We're looking for stuff.
Somebody, of course, is huge too.
Oh yeah,
I mean, it's huge.
Yeah. Plenty of room to do different things.
To do 18 holes.
Yeah, and there's plenty of people all over. Like somebody listening to this or somebody that follows our platforms on social media, will hear about baskets coming up available because they're being replaced.
And if you're in Dixon, get out and join that bag tag league.
Yep.
Right.
Come on, Dixon discount.
Oh, we were 100% payouts.
Yep.
Ooh.
I mean, we're doing a thing your tag will be $10. I mean, we put the extra money that we make off that into a pot, so we'll have to do something fun at the end of the year. Nice. But when you pay your $10 in, we pay out 100%. So the money, we're keeping money that we make off tags for the club.
Yeah.
And what we need for all the stuff and for something to do at the end of the year. But the money you pay in for your $10 is getting paid back out. So if you're good enough, you can get. With how small we are, we pay out $70, $80 the winter.
Heck yeah.
Here's another good thing to mention too, and being that you're small and you're trying to generate some growth, it would be a good time to figure out where you want to be in 5 years and start laying things in place now. And I'll tell you, the first thing that, like, if you were, and this is why, like, people are always saying, why don't you poll the members? Why don't you poll the members about the club stuff? And full disclosure, now that I'm not a board member of the club, I could say, well, the reason you don't poll the members is because the general membership does not know anything about how sponsorships are negotiated, does not know anything about the expenses that are built into running a club, having an insurance policy every year, being able to have starting costs to order things like tags and print materials and stuff to get your season going, or any expenses like if you get the opportunity, if Parks approves for you to put a new course in somewhere, do you have any money on hand to put into baskets and materials to install a new course? Making improvements to the courses that you do have. So, like, obviously Music City Disc Golf is in a bigger city, has more members. We're able to do more with that kind of fundraising. But if you were to poll the members and say, hey, what would you change about your club? 99% of them, the first thing out of their mouth would be lower membership fees, lower dues, lower entry fees. And yeah, at the front end, that seems like a great value to the players. Oh, we're paying less to be a part of this. Well, if the goal of your club is to actually improve disc golf in your area, you can get around the fact that people like to save money by giving them something to believe in and be a part of. And say, look, man, yeah, maybe because like ours had been 20, we've talked about raising it from 20. But what we've done in lieu of that is create upgraded membership packages where we have additional buy-ins during our membership drive where, hey, instead of 20, if you pay 35, you get your tag. Oh, and you also get the t-shirt. Oh, and then for 50, you get the tag, you get your t-shirt, and you get a personalized 3D tag that you can hang. It's got your name on it. You know what I mean? You come up with these cool things, and you look at different companies about things that you can get at a low wholesale cost and have a big profit margin. Because like our tags that we get from Falling Putt, they're on the expensive end as far as tags go. We go with Falling Putt because we have a relationship there. They're easy to work with, and they don't plaster their logo all over everything that you buy. So we buy our tags, the circular acrylic ones that we get are $3.99 a piece. Our membership is $20. So if every standard $20 membership, you're making $16 from your membership drive.
Okay.
But you also, like, one thing that everybody thought that was kind of extraneous that I always did was I refused to sell bag tags. People would come up and say, hey, can I buy a bag tag? I'd be like, nope, but you can join Music City Disc Golf and we'll give you a tag, because that's the whole reason why people join a club or an organization, is to feel like they belong to something that's bigger than they are. And that's the driving force of disc golf, the family. You know what I mean? We are all a big group of different people moving in one direction.
Okay.
And so it's a philosophical thing.
Amen.
You know?
Preach.
And this is always the difficulty, and this is kind of where you're at, and where I can kind of maybe lessen your curve.
Yeah, the learning curve.
Well, it's just because the first priority is get your nuts and bolts right. Know the rules, know what kind of parameters you have to operate within, and once you know all the hardware is secure, and you know that you're crossing all your T's and dotting all your I's, well, then you can embellish. Then you can add frills and bells and whistles and really start making a special experience.
Well, that's what this year was about for me. Was just getting. I made the schedule the whole year ahead of time, and I had to make sure I didn't cross schedule against you guys or against certain tournaments and stuff. That took me long enough time. I couldn't. And we did that, like, poll the group on when do y'all want to have your next bag tag. That's why we had 4 bag tags in 1 year, polling the group.
Yep.
Because nobody could come up with when to do the next bag tag.
Generally, people don't know what they want, and that's why you have a club, is so that because
You can make it happen.
people work really well when you say, "Hey, this is what we're doing," and they're like, "Okay."
They like it too, because hey, this day we're having a bag tag, and either you can come or you can't.
Yeah.
And I told the guys ahead of time, the play all the time, so you can't come, it's fine.
Yeah.
We have a lot of people, I can't make that on the day of. Hey, man, let me get in.
Yeah. Yeah, and then back to the entry fee thing. I mean, like, if you start lowering entry fees and then you don't have any money to make improvements, and then you have all these people that have paid in to be a part of the club, they're not seeing their money doing anything because there's not enough money to do anything, and then they start accusing the club of pocketing that money.
That never happened.
And they will never take the time to look into it and see what happened in those tournaments, that there was 100% payout. They'll just remember, we paid in all this money and we got all these rusty baskets and all this tall grass.
Yeah, I got
You know what I mean?
Wholesale disc, a custom stamp with your own logo. People love, like, it's like, oh, this disc is $25, but you're supporting the club at the same time.
Well, that's what Jeff. Jeff has a great relationship with Dynamic.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's what he got all that stuff done.
Yeah.
And that's what Jeff didn't.
Most manufacturers are going to be really eager to support a club like that.
Jeff did
give him a
with the
wholesale
club. He's
account.
still like he's so busy with work. That's what he says to Gary. We didn't. Well, it's like I got voted in. Everybody just knew that I was there every bag tag, and I was all about it. So there was almost like, Gary, you ready to?
Well, that's the first thing, is getting known by the club members and being around and just listening, like being
It's
that
easy
guy.
for me to be remembered. But I give back. Like, I got known from giving people their disc back all the time. Buckner calling people all the time, saying, "Here, I got your disc. I got your disc." So that's how a lot of people knew me. And then being that tall, like they see me out somewhere. They know
This
I
disc
know
was
this guy.
retrieved by Drive Disc.
Yeah.
See, you can do that now. Every text message.
We got to do something. But,
Yeah.
I mean, no, that's and that is, you're right, because like.
But that's something like I've never seen anything
How
like
we-
that
yeah.
before.
And we're
People
not-
are going to lose their shit over that.
We're not.
Oh,
big,
yeah.
We're not big enough to be sponsored either.
Yeah,
Dixon Disc Golf Club is not really big enough to have.
It's big enough
It's big enough.
Oh, yeah.
Because
Yeah,
I'll
yeah,
tell you
but-
this, man.
because it's going to grow.
Companies
Yeah.
are going to be interested in getting in on something at the ground level, because one thing that I know about Dixon that maybe they don't is that it's becoming the working man's Williamson County.
Yeah, it's getting swollen. Yeah.
No, yeah, it's getting
Well, I mean,
pretty
we're
big.
getting like a stupid, not
It's swole?
stupid. It might be pretty.
Well,
The
everybody that's
splash
getting
pad.
priced out of Franklin is moving to Dixon.
I can't wait to
So
see the splash pad. Yo.
This is going to be an epic splash pad. We are putting
We got
a slip and
speakers
slide
in the
down.
splash
I mean, it's
Laser lights.
I think I remember measurements. I think Franklin has one that's like 5,000 square feet or something, and I think ours is actually going to be like 25,000 square feet.
That's retarded.
14
I just said that.
million
I just got
dollars.
I did not mean to. That's not what I meant.
If
I
you
did not
know,
mean to-
they're taking a whole 18-hole golf course, making it to a
Ridiculous.
dog walking
The other
park,
hole.
and the splash pad.
We could either
Just
do a
gonna-
new disc golf course or one splash pad.
one huge
entire
mega splash pad.
entire-
Could you imagine if they come up to us and we're like, "Here's $14 million, make a disc golf course"?
Dude.
I can do that.
Disc
Yeah.
Golf Wonderland.
Yeah.
Everybody gets golf carts,
Oh yeah.
trackers for your discs, so you never
Yeah.
lose it.
I was just hoping to get a.
Everybody wins a Hellcat.
Sleeping accommodations.
I can.
Little
but,
condo.
I mean,
Disc golf condo.
I'm definitely going to go talk to the parks department now. I mean, I didn't avoid them. None. I always talk to them, and I always go in the office.
I
and-
totally understand it,
Yeah.
man, because it's really easy if you don't have an established relationship or you're not really sure where the boundaries of where everything works is. It's really, you don't want to draw too much attention to yourself, because parks departments have been notorious for undervaluing disc golf courses and threatening to pull them out at the slightest infraction.
That's how I got super lucky by that. I was sitting we drove to Hensley Park.
Oh yeah, we were just driving
And
around.
the actual head of the parks department just said, I said, "Hey, what you got?" We're like, "Well, we're just seeing what's going on over here at Hensley now." He's like, and then he just told us his whole plan
Yeah.
for what's going on,
Yeah.
and then he told me about how he was surprised at how popular disc golf is and stuff, and
It's coming.
yep,
It's the sport of the 80s.
That's the thing is you'd rather be out of sight, out of mind than be the squeaky
That
wheel
is, yeah.
sometimes. But the squeaky wheel does get the grease as long as you're not a d-bag about it, and as long as like you come to them and approach them in a professional way using the means of communication that are preferred by them. And and it takes time like anything and repetition, but it's one of those things that if like you and 2 or 3, just a core group, a handful of the really committed people show up to every parks board meeting and make sure that you're communicating with them, send emails to let them know that, hey, we're coming, we would like to talk about these things. Become a fixture at those meetings. Don't let them forget about you.
All right.
The one thing that they will appreciate about you, no matter what, is that you are getting people at their park, and that areas of their park that are more remote and that typically fall to shenanigans and underhanded activity.
Yeah.
Like, disc golf is great about curbing a lot of that because
Over
it gets
there.
people walking
Yeah,
through those remote
always.
areas. And parks departments are aware of this. Without fail, they know that this is a benefit, and that's one of the things that they look for when they bring in disc golf. But there's a lot of benefits that most of the time these people are not aware of, like the fact that it's a low bar of entry activity for everybody, kids, seniors, developmentally disabled people.
Oh, yeah.
You know, it's for everybody. It's something everybody can take part in. It's cheap. It doesn't
Even
cost
during
a
a
lot of money to
pandemic,
get into.
you can still
Yeah.
play disc golf.
Because you can always be outside.
And it's a huge fundraising engine.
Oh yeah.
yeah.
Look at Morley Field. I mean, that was years and decades ago when that first pay-to-play model came out. But the city itself has made money off having disc golf there. And not only that, but there's money being generated to make the course as special as it possibly can be. So, I mean, there are shining examples of this working to the park's benefit in huge ways that are usually not seen. But it's just a matter of getting that level of confidence and faith with the parks
And
department.
now you can point them to YouTube, so at least they can like, hey, watch this on your lunch break. It's
Right.
a 20-minute video on a disc
Hell,
golf
you're about
tournament.
to see 2-hour specials on ESPN2 on
I was surprised about that too. Doing disc golf on ESPN, like I never saw it
Yeah.
out
I'm
there before.
so
and then-
relieved I can talk about that.
Yes, it's on there. I was first time seeing. I was like, "What ESPN?" I was seeing these throws. I was
What
also
tournaments are
happy
coming
for
out?
it.
The Portland Open,
The Portland Open. I mean, there's going to be several. I know back in January or so, it
Music
was
City Open.
it's being discussed.
and I still can't go
Ooh.
through my recommended list on YouTube without seeing the shot.
Oh
Or
yeah.
some different like news in Ohio talking about it. Or this, every Joe. What's that guy's name? John Boy with baseball.
Oh yeah.
He was talking about it.
Yep.
On there, so it's that one shot probably gave us like $10
A lot of
million
coverage.
worth of
Well,
advertising.
And then right before that, they were played the Pro Tour Championship on Thanksgiving Day. I
Yeah.
can't tell you how many people from the nooks and crannies of my life around the world reached out to say,
Oh, this is what you
hey, dude, I saw disc golf on TV today. It was pretty cool." I'm like, yeah, it's pretty cool. Yeah.
I can't wait to hear now, like when in 10 years, 20 years from now, when somebody's like, "Did you the shot of disc golf?"
Yeah.
The
What
shot.
The albatross?
Oh,
Exactly. Which one?
there you go. I still get that one. People that don't know I play disc golf will send it
Yeah.
to me. Look at this guy.
I made a
Philo?
comment. I made a comment. on it.
Philobotros.
I made a comment on that shot on Facebook and got 500 hits.
Yeah.
Dang.
Nice.
Yeah, I still get like
When Philo
random,
came, he's like,
shit, people
you know
still
what-
comment on
he's
this?
like, "Do you know what this is?" And he set the disc down. He's like, "Philobotros," and then everybody's like, just picked it up and started taking pictures with it. Like, I touched a Philobotros. It's just a destroyer, bro.
And what a lot of people don't know is that these guys are easy to get a hold of.
Oh, they're very
Oh,
They're
yeah.
super. I mean,
Yeah,
like,
they're responsive.
I got Dutch Napier come out.
Yeah.
And play. That's the coolest dude.
Oh,
I've had in a
yeah.
long
Dutch is
time.
great. Yeah.
And I had Chris Dickerson.
Mm-hmm.
We lined it up to come play around with us,
Nice.
but COVID ruined all that. So
Well, I don't know if you heard, but COVID's gone. It's a thing of the
Right, oh, yeah.
past.
That's
it's
what we're-
imaginary.
Hey,
I want to give the guys. They let any guy coming out's fun. That's fun. Y'all don't do that anymore, do you? Y'all don't,
Do what now?
Do y'all have pros come out still?
Oh yeah, I mean, COVID definitely put a lid on a lot of it for the last year and a half.
There's
But
Paige Pierce doubles at the.
there's
that
three
was
pros.
awesome.
There's 3 pros sitting in this room right now. NPO.
I'm sponsored.
You got a pro? Well, yeah. Signed up.
Shout out my
We
sponsorship.
play MPO.
Yeah.
We always play the last
Hey,
of the
whoa,
bag
this is
tag.
my last chance
Jay
right now.
Skinner, Will, Marcus, and me.
Oh, yeah.
We always play the last card of the bag tag. It's like,
Yeah.
all right, 4 MPOs, 4 pros starting off.
Yeah, you'll start seeing a lot more clinics and cool stuff like that coming. Right now, it's been a thing where traveling has been so weird, where everybody has basically just said, we're going to travel to these events, and in between these events, we're going to get the out of Dodge. That's just the thing. And plus, now with all the growth, there's money going around, and discs are hard to come by. It used to be just a year and a half, 2 years ago, all these traveling pros had vans full of discs, and they were looking for money. And now they got all this money, and they don't have any discs.
I went,
So
I went
disc
along
craft.
with that. I was collecting discs. I had a wall and stuff, and then I was there thinking, I was like, this is not the best. I had discs just sitting in my basement.
What you got, man?
Boxes.
You got any mamas?
No, I sold them. I sold them. I did. I sold 10 discs for. I got $1,000. I had like Night Strike ones and stuff like that.
hell yeah.
I had every disc Conrad ever had. And so I got rid of all those. And but yeah, if you got nice discs, now's the time to sell them.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. You can definitely. It's a
You're
seller's
making
market
tons of money.
for sure. But I mean, that
Yeah,
was
dude.
always why we reached out to those pros, and a lot of times they were reaching out to us because they were passing through Nashville because it's central to
Yeah.
everywhere on their way somewhere, and they would hit me up like, "Hey, man, is there any way we could put on a round or have a clinic?" And to us, it's a huge value because we get to bring these pros and put them in front of our members, our players here, and make them feel like they're a part of the disc golf world at large. And it was at the time, it was a huge value to the pros because they had a bunch of plastic sitting in their vehicle
Yeah.
and they needed money to keep moving down the
Yeah.
road. And so we had no problem making them a few $1,000s at the drop of a hat, get 200 people to come out and play doubles. And right now, you're seeing, man, even these pros that haven't won lately are making close to a 3-figure salary just off disc sales alone. And it's
3-figure
I
salaries.
was about to say the same thing. I got
Three-
the whole
$999.
3 times 3 9-figure no
300?
math.
math is
Quiet while I'm doing
300.
math, woman.
That's why they made you.
Because I was like
So you do the math.
$999 to $300,000.
That was what Chappelle said. He said, "Quiet, woman, I'm thinking about math."
I mean, they're making $10 and $20 at a time now.
Tens of 20s of dollars.
Entry fees at $300, but they're making 10.
Let me hold it. Let me hold 350. Let me.
It was funny because we had this community clinic, and Philo was passing through town, and it was at the very end of the clinic, and this guy comes up, never played disc golf. He gets a 45-minute lesson from Philo, and he's like, "Man, this disc golf game is pretty fun." I'm like, "You have no idea. Like,
Yeah,
you're just
yeah.
one of the top pros. You just got like $150 private lesson." from
Yeah,
this
and I
guy."
guarantee you, at some point, if that dude ever thought about disc golf again, and he got on YouTube and started
Just
looking at, he
see,
saw
yeah.
Philo's shot, he's like, "Oh man,
Yeah.
he taught
Yeah.
me. I should have got a selfie."
I tore my pectoral muscle.
Oh,
So I went from
man.
throwing like and I don't have insurance, so I couldn't get it fixed. So it's just
Damn.
it is what it is. So I went from throwing like 400 extra change to about 300 if I was lucky. I took Scott Stokely's course, the all day, the 8-hour one, and it's
seminar.
a chunk of change.
Yeah.
You know, it's an investment, but it was worth it. Like I got
Oh,
more.
yeah.
I might have got 50 extra feet because once you lose some muscle like that, it's not. There's no miracle cure to get
Yeah.
footage back. But I got way more accurate, way more consistent and stuff. Where you
Yeah.
showed me, and he took time being nice, like everybody is. Like Scott's a super nice guy.
Yeah, he's right.
Gave my mom a ton of, like a free lesson to help her out too. And
Sounds like you might be about ready to move up to intermediate.
no, I'm Rex for life. I keep saying that, but I'm at
Rex at
I'll be
FX.
an intermediate at MCO,
Oh, yeah.
and we have an RV, and we go to what's the name of darn it? There's a campground down there. Y'all camp somewhere else, I know, but we also camp at the one that
Jellystone?
No, no.
I mean, isn't there,
KA.
isn't there a Jellystone where they
There, I
KOA.
thought it was in Millersville.
By-
Is that the one about Upper Mills?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do they do the
But,
lights?
Yeah, they used to do the lights. Now they got too big. They had to go like down south,
What is
like
the name of that
Franklin.
stupid-
They get too big? Really?
Yeah, they moved to like some racetracks.
We're right on the lake. Percy Priest, and
Okay.
it's called like Six Creeks or something like that. I can't think.
They
can't
got
think of
Triple
anything.
Creek.
Seven
they,
Oaks.
They got
Yeah,
two
it is
rivers.
like that.
Six
It's confused
creeks.
like that. I think it's like six,
78 creeks.
That's what we're in But we sit out there and have after MCO and just like
27 tributaries.
8 rivers,
37th Delta.
5 highways,
Whiskey Tango Foxtrot, over.
5 highways park.
That's what we're doing at that's where the Dixon Disc Golf Club will be at.
I like it.
Whatever the name of that park is at.
Party
Yeah, we'll be up all night drinking and.
all night.
That's why we're wrecked for life too.
Wreck for life. Hey, that doesn't sound like rec level party. That sounds like
Rec
MPO
level play.
pro level.
Professional level party.
There you go.
Always.
Yeah,
Work hard, play hard.
drive disc golf party.
You guys just had a bag tag yesterday, right?
Yes.
When's your next one?
Weather messed us up,
Yeah, I bet it did.
but we still had it. So that was the thing that I told everybody: no matter what, we're having these, and if it's raining, I'll be there. And I've been most of it was just my core group showed up, and we just played around a regular round.
Yeah.
I wasn't going to charge you guys. Charge my friends to play around with me.
That's why you do it.
VIP, baby.
Yeah.
Give me the money, baby.
It was raining. Yeah, Wednesday night tags raining. And Will was like, I think you might want to call an audible, but then it let up, and then we had 50 people out there.
Yeah, then I went home because I tried to play before WNT and then ended up standing on hole 3's tee pad for like 40 minutes waiting for it to let up. And then we like played through hole 10. I was like, screw this, man. I'm wet. I'm going home. Get up there, tell him, yeah, I might call an audible. This is looking pretty bad. And then I go home and I see the weather's all awesome. And Sarah Sinclair is out there playing with Kevin and Ketley. And I'm like, I haven't ever seen these people at WNT. What?
Yeah.
What? What?
August 7th.
What the word salad?
August 7th.
Yep. And all of them are at 9 a.m.
Okay.
9 a.m.
We
Be
do it
there.
at 9 a.m. So it's August 7th.
Rain or shine.
Rain or shine, I will be there. And if you
Lost
ever
for
get a
lightning.
text message that I found your disc, I found your whatever the name of your disc is in Buckner Lake, that's me.
All right.
I retrieved your disc with Drive Disc Golf at Buckner Lake.
There you go. You're going to do the
Joe
commercial.
Rogan's
Yeah.
brother.
And you know the worst thing about getting discs back? It's fun. I like doing it because you get to exercise and
The people
it's like
that yell at
fishing.
you.
It's like fishing. I found some really good discs out there. Like
Do people ever give you shit about it, though? We got some crazy people in Lost and Found.
I find that as soon as you touch somebody else's disc, no matter how like nice you're trying to be, it's just not worth it. I see disc laying on the ground on the course anymore, and I pretend that I never saw them. I just keep walking.
I get mostly the people who text me back and say, "Thank you so much. That's my favorite disc.
Awesome.
I love it so much."
You find
Sits
a
in my
red.
trunk for a year.
You found a red bolt. Yeah, no, they say thank you, and then they never come and get it.
Yep.
And I was like, well, I'll drop that off here. And somebody was like, oh, you're a fucking dickhead. And I was like, all right, I got to delete this message.
I found
before.
the red bolt.
Sorry, parental advisory.
I did find a red bolt, really.
You did?
Yeah, but it had a name and number on it, so I picked it up.
Oh, how about a let me see, a USA,
I threw a red bolt on 13.
a USA
and
flag?
cut rolled in the water.
I'm sure.
Oh,
Yeah, I found
yeah,
it. I mean, I
all the
found. Like I
time.
said, with no name on them.
Oh, it
Yeah,
makes me
yeah.
so
What I
mad.
do is that when I come back from the park, I clean them off a little bit,
Uh-huh.
and then I take a picture, put them on YouTube, not YouTube, on Facebook. So on Dixon. So if you want to find your disc, join Dixon Disc Golf
Disc
Club.
and Dix Golf.
It's a mouthful every time.
Disc and Dix Golf.
Home of the world's
Post it on
largest
Middle
splash
Tennessee
pad.
just on our local club page, so that everybody
Yeah.
knows. Because a lot of people still don't put their names on discs.
Nah, this was
No.
like 4 years
Dude,
ago.
I'm going to
I
tell you
still
right
find
now.
those.
That's
like,
crazy.
Because it's the way the mud and stuff does, it'll push some. It's like weird how it does. Like the algae comes on, and then buries the disc from this year, and somehow the disc from last year will come up. And
Man, this is like
I've actually
archaeology
pulled discs
lesson
out.
here.
Right.
Somebody said I lost that disc 3 years ago, and I'm like, awesome. Well, here it is.
Yeah.
Man, I know. I have people come up to me all the time, and they'll be like, "Oh yeah, I lost this disc, and this dude texted me and said he found it, but like." I've been texting him, oh, hey, I'm going to Cedar Hill. And he won't come to Cedar Hill. Oh, yeah, I'm going to Seven Oaks, and he won't bring it to Seven Oaks. He said he'll take it to the Nashville Disc Golf store. So I went to the Nashville Disc Golf store, and Sean said he never got it. I'm like, well, what the hell? I'm like, so you're mad that the disc that you walked away from and left at a course that you chose to abandon, you're mad that somebody went to the trouble of picking it up and texting you, and now they're not trying hard enough to get it back to you? Find out where they are. Go get the damn thing. Like,
I'm sure
grow
the guy.
up.
I'm sure the guy didn't mean it this way, but a guy texted me because I was known to get discs. He said, "Man, I've lost my favorite disc on hole 14." And I said, "Man, it's been raining a lot. There's no reason for me to go out there and get it. I usually only go when I know I'm going to get a bunch."
Yeah.
And I said, "But you can come to my house and get the rake. I don't care."
Yeah.
And I didn't even know this guy. And he said, "No, I'm busy. Can you do it?" I was just like, "Oh, really?"
These
Really?
entitled assholes.
And I didn't, but I'm sure he was.
Yep, I'm calling
he
him
didn't
out.
Think it through. I'm hoping he didn't think it through.
That was my fire.
I kind of was like, I think after that, I loaned the rake out. After that, I was kind of like, man, what am I? That really kind of, that was not cool.
Well, Callie McMorrin, man, she had her and her dad had a great idea. They had disc water rescue down there in Memphis, and so they go. Rich goes into the ponds after lost discs. He collects them all, puts them in the house. When she comes back off tour, she catalogs them, gets the contact information where it's available, posts them on their Facebook group. After a certain amount of time goes by, if they're unclaimed, they get sold or donated. And if they're sold, then that money gets used to make improvements on the courses there in Memphis. It paid for them to put in terraced railroad ties on the snake hole to keep the retention there, because a lot of that soil was rushing off that hillside. And it's a great idea, but I can't tell you how much negative feedback she gets and how many people are constantly blowing her up in her DMs, accusing her of stealing their shit because they don't understand. It's like basically, in my mind, if I go to a course and I throw way off the fairway, I spend 20 minutes looking for the disc, I can't find it, and I leave. At that point, I have relinquished my rights of ownership over this piece of plastic.
Possession.
Because
it's the parks now.
I chose to walk away from it.
It's the parks.
Right. It's community property. Now, if some good soul happens to find it and contact me, awesome. But you know what? It's been so long since I have lost a bunch of discs that every once in a while somebody will call me about one that I've been missing for 4 or 5 years. And I'm just like, hey, man, congratulations. That's your new enforcer.
That's what I tell you. But I mean, you're not out in the water, Dixon. So I do go out of my way to try to help people out, because I know they can't get their disc back. They're not. It's harder about if you can't go in the water, but people are weird.
And then it's like, I know that I am the kind of person, I try to be nice. If somebody were to blow me up, and try to light me up about, accusing me of stealing their shit when I saw it on the ground and was kind enough to pick it up and let them know I had it, as they're on the phone lighting me up, they're texting me, "Oh, you're a fucking dickhead," whatever. I'm going to text them back being like, "I am currently peeing on your disc, and as soon as I'm done, I'm dropping it in the fireplace."
Or here's a video of me throwing it back in the lake where I got it from.
The funniest thing is, I told you, I get 200 discs a year out of that lake. I don't save your number. I mean, people, hey man, you got my disc right from a year later. I'm like, I don't even know who you are. I don't know what disc you're talking about. I'm not going to remember. But I don't have it now, and I'm sorry. I just don't. I didn't.
In fact, I think you got one of mine out that I lost in the ground opening tournament because this dude, Drew Heston, maybe was his last name, caddied for me during that tournament, and I threw a blue VIP Westside Giant into the lake. And this was 2 years later. He brought it back to me and said somebody had dragged the lake and he saw it in their stuff and he grabbed it for me, and I was like, oh man, well that's awesome. I never thought I'd see that one again, and I had already had mirrored image.
What about this? The Freddie Gibbs Memorial. You find a lost disc and say, "We found your disc. We put it at Freddie."
Yep.
And if somebody takes it from there, then that's on them.
Find them and let me know what their name is.
Or if it's then you have a clock, because somebody's probably going to take it from there. Yeah. If it's because most of the discs they put around the Freddie Gibbs Memorial are broken, or they're cracked, they're broken. But I'm thinking, what if you're just like, oh, your disc is here. It's by the Freddie Memorial. It's not under the trash can. Which Metro Park's always like, I found this disc and I found 3 discs. It's under the trash can. It's like, actually, that's our return policy. Yeah. So,
that's the laugh.
Drum.
We give people. We started doing a masking tape. Put the date when they were contacted, if they said they're going to pick it up or not, and I'm like, in 1 month, if you don't pick it up, it's donated to Shelby Nature Center, and they rent out discs. And I bet if they had it, you could go over and make a $20 donation, and they would give you that disc, because they don't know it's a $30 disc. They're like, I mean, it's just a disc.
I ended up giving most. I was just giving.
Yeah.
Every time I met a new player, I pop the trunk, but pick out whatever you want out of it. What? Anything you want.
Because what is a lot if somebody turns in a disc and then you lose that disc, is it on you? Right. Or is it it was still lost when you left it? So, and now it's still lost again.
And there's no amount of. I've only had one disc returned to me.
After all that,
hundreds. So karma is. I believe in karma anyway, but. You think I get all my discs back? I don't. I've only had one returned.
But have you hit any ace after you found somebody's disc?
I've never
honestly, I never aced.
I got so close so many times.
You play Dixon too much.
Yeah, well, it's hard in Dixon as
No,
well.
yeah.
But I've done still. I've come closer
Yeah.
there, and Columbia. Man, that's a real fun course.
yeah.
Columbia.
Yeah.
I love playing out there.
Right. What's going on over here?
Mark has got to go to work. We're probably about to wrap it up
Yeah.
anyway.
That sounds good.
But man,
Wrapping.
I'm excited about how excited you are and having excited people
Dixon Disc
trying to
Golf.
make stuff happen out there. Marcus, if you need to go before we're finished wrapping this up, I love
Word.
it.
Drive disc golf. You got like him now?
Yeah, everybody look at Drive Disc Golf.
Drive.
And next time, let's see, the next couple guests that come by the podcast are going to get themselves a nice little mini
And,
knee pad and a sticker.
And you guys going to Sean's Nashville Disc Golf anytime soon? I'm not, actually.
I probably, Dr. Hoyer or Marcus
Might
might.
probably stop by there.
I'm
Yeah.
going to drop some of these off to him,
Sponsored athlete over
and
here.
he can just either.
I'll get it.
And you got. I made sure you got some too, right?
Oh, we got a stack.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right, so-
Word up. There you go, bud. Yeah, that's awesome, man. And this is super, this is huge for a company like Drive, too.
He will print these out for you too. He makes these.
I'll
Drive
put logo
does.
on 'em?
Yeah. So if you
Hey.
got-
Where are they located?
Players pack item.
Drive,
Yeah,
this is
we're
California company.
California.
So I need to actually get that. Man, see,
Do you have 700?
Oh, no, yeah, I think you have,
I'm just-
you have to get,
I was like,
I
do you
think
have
the minimum
700?
order is 50 to get one that says like 7 Oaks with your logo on it. 'Cause I was going to get something with our Dixon
Oh.
logo on there, but couldn't afford 50.
Oh man, if he gave us 700 of these, we could
700
put
of
in
them?
competitor.
Nah, that's true.
700 competitor packs. That's what we're looking at.
No, yeah.
And
I-
for the mega raffle, if you wanted to donate some disc retrievers, we got a MCO mega
that's what
raffle.
we're gonna do. That's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna
And
what
some
is
cash.
That? I'm gonna get you in touch with him.
Okay.
Too.
Yeah. We'll talk.
Yeah.
We'll talk probably tomorrow at some point, and I'll get his info from you because
he-
I'd love to
he
contact
did
him.
Las Vegas, I mean, he did Las Vegas Challenge, so he can handle Nashville.
Oh yeah, I'd
So-
love to get him on the show and plug him into our events because this is just. I mean, you talk about there's like a function and a form kind of component to things really catching on and being successful, and this thing has both in spades. It's solid, sturdy construction. It's carbon fiber. You can't mess it up, and it's beautiful. Like it looks like a
That
like a
emerald
pool
is
cue.
amazing, dude.
Yeah, it looks like something that you spend $400 on to take with you in a suitcase to play pool every night.
Yeah.
Just to get a disc out of a tree.
Any other exciting news? Anything new coming up in Dixon that you want to get out on the airwaves? Let everybody know about.
All right, now I have the Dixie Disc Golf Club on Facebook. That's
Dixon
our
Disc
page.
Golf Club on
Join,
Facebook.
and we'll
Post everything on there, really.
Yep.
Whatever goes on.
All right. Well, you guys will stay tuned, and you'll hear about the next stuff coming to Dixon as soon as it comes. And thank you, Gary and Hunter, for coming and spending some time with us tonight, talking about all this cool stuff. I need to get back out there and play an event with you guys, or just around sometime soon.
Thanks for having us out here, though. It's really fun.
Yeah, man,
house?
it's growing. It used to be a lot less fun. It used to be one little microphone huddled on a table between a bunch of sweaty guys trying to yell, all echoey in Dr. Hoy's gigantic living room.
Acoustics.
Speaking of which, we got to get Ken Folger back in for a redo
Oh,
now
yeah.
that we got some actual
Yeah.
mics. All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in to episode 41. Thanks to Gary and Hunter Rogan for coming and hanging out in the Sapphire Lounge with us tonight. Stay tuned. Next week, we will have my friend, 5-time junior world champion and 5-time distance world record holder, Nicholas Duran will be joining us next week.
See you later, Grandma.
Yep.
You didn't forget.
Love you.
Let the bass kick.